Burgers and $6 buds. Wednesdays, half-price spin dip and bottles of wine. And Thursdays, half-price wings and $6 Coors Light. At Kelsey's, the original Canadian Roadhouse.
I'd never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything move like it. Did it come from the stars? I don't know. But it had one on it.
And the men who hold high places must be the ones who start to mold a new reality closer to the heart, closer to the heart.
Answer the call. Volunteer with Ontario Corps.
My AC went from a clunk to a gentle
You got it.
Sounds expensive.
You have Enercare Advantage, so it's all covered.
Experts at keeping your home humming along.
Enercare. Experts at home.
Marlins, Blue Jays, tomorrow on Sportsnet 1. The National Hockey League on Sportsnet presents the Stanley Cup Playoffs.
Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. She wanna dance on fire. Everything gas is fire. Oh, 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 I see what you're saying. Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. She wanna dance on fire. Everything gas is fire. No one's getting too close, too close, too far. Give me that gasoline. Give me that make me feel. Give me that make me sweat. Something I can't forget. Burning out with my slime. Reading the flame go wild. It's still under the breath. Love goes psycho. Might take you viral. I go full thriller tonight. Love goes crazy. Like Christy, baby. Hit me with it one more time. Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. She wanna dance on fire. Everything gas is fire. Rolls down too close, too close, too far.
It's still to go in. Scores! Here's Caulfield. Scores! Alex Texier. Davidoff, home free.
It's fire. Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. Everything lit is fire. Everything big is fire. She wanna dance on fire. Yeah. Everything gas is fire. Don't stand too close.
Hello, Canada and hockey fans of the United States and Newfoundland.
This is Hockey Night in Canada on Sportsnet.
You want action? We've got action for you here tonight. He's got the stick. He's in. Scores!
Absolutely amazing.
Series tied Game 3 in Montreal. Thank you to South Korea's BTS, the biggest boys band in the world. Who are the boys in Montreal? Yesterday, it was 19-year-old Kimi Antonelli beating the 41-year-old legend Lewis Hamilton. Tonight, it's Jakub Dobish, 24, Freddie Anderson, 36, Jordan Stahl, 37, Juraj Slafkovsky, 22. So it's always in these cases a coming of age or a passing of the torch. Good evening. Welcome to Hockey Night in Canada. Jen, Colby, and Luke are with us, and so are David and Elliot at the rink. DA.
That's right. The lights just went down here in Montreal, and this crowd is ready to go off, Elliot. Now listen, Carolina 10 games into their Stanley Cup playoff run. 9 of those 10 games have been victories. They've looked very good, specifically in Game 2, the real version of the Hurricanes.
I think that's so well said, Dave, because Carolina said they will not have another game like Game 1 in this series. where they made mental mistakes. They let the Canadians get behind them. That is a common refrain from them. They will not have another game like that. They raised their level in Game 2, so now it's up to the Canadians to raise their level in Game 3. And Dave, I don't know about you, but every game we're here, it just feels more and more electric.
Yeah, definitely the electricity is running through this building. And one thing the Habs talked about this morning, to a man, pace. They want to keep up to the pace, the frenetic pace that we've seen from the Hurricanes throughout this series and the postseason.
Gentlemen, we're going to take a short break and come right back with more of our coverage, including who carries in that torch. It's the Hurricanes and the boys who tried Wolf.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs on Sportsnet. Brought to you by Rogers. And presented by Instacart.
Electric inside and outside at Montreal. Chris Cuthbert, Craig Simpson, Kyle Bukoska standing by. Jankowski, Robinson, Carrier for the Hurricanes. Texier, Anderson, Deneau are your starters for the Montreal Canadiens. This important Game 3 tonight. Luke, what do you got?
Fourth line versus fourth line to start. I absolutely love that, but excited to see the gamesmanship and the matchups with Marty having last change here as we go along. I think this is going to be a heck of a hockey game. Do not go anywhere. There's going to be pace all over the ice, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, well, I look at both teams, how they're going to match up, right? We saw a little bit through 2 games, but Montreal's execution. Montreal has to execute against the way that this Canes team played and looked in Game 2 to try to break that. Canes a little patient with that game. Dobish playing well, patient with that game.
My daughters have a board where they write up some of their favorite quotes, and just yesterday they added "lift others up." That's Josh Anderson for this Montreal Canadiens team. However you play, whatever your style, you want to bring a bit of his game, the intensity, the speed, the physicality.
Jennifer, your daughters were a huge part of the Battle of the Blade show that we did. And Colby, you were a judge on the Battle of the Blade show that we did.
Canada's judge.
Yes, Canada's judge. First show we ever did, we needed somebody clutch to hit the ice, especially the men. We had Shaylin Bourne was the female skater, and her partner came out and settled everybody down with one of the greatest skates we ever had. And that was the man who's going to carry the torch tonight. He's a Conn Smythe Trophy winner. As a rookie with the Montreal Canadiens in 1986, he scored the winner against Hartford in OT in Game 7. He had an unreal run for the 10 rookie-laden Habs that year. He's got 3 Stanley Cups. You know he was gritty. He used to say, I have 3 Stanley Cups even if I'm the most hated man in hockey. Claude Lemieux, over to you.
What's the voice inside Martin St. Louis telling him as he walks onto the bench? 21,000 voices are bearing their souls in front of their exploits. The one voice of Michel Lacroix on the PA. None better to listen to right now than his to lead you into Game 3 of this Eastern Conference Final.
Le numéro 21, number 21, Caden Goulet. Le numéro 24, number 24, Philippe Dano. Le numéro 45, number 45, Alexandre Carrier. Le numéro 85, number 85, Alexandre Texier. Et le numéro 75, number 75, Jakub Novesh. Mesdames et messieurs, demeurez debout. Retirez chapeaux et casquettes pour l'interprétation des hymnes nationaux par Camille Cormier-Moras, Sarah Justine, Émilie Damour et Éléonore Lagacé, avec un survol aérien des Snowbirds des Forces armées canadiennes. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Remove your hats and caps for the national anthems performed by Camille Cormier-Moras, Sarah Justine, Émilie Damour, along with Éléonore Lagacé, with a flag passed by the Canadian Armed Forces Snowbirds.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, We stand on guard. Êtes-vous prêts, Montréal?
A Snowbird ceremonial flyby this evening, marking the second consecutive blockbuster sports day in Montreal. We move from NASCAR country to the home of the Canadian Grand Prix and into the fast lane for Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Final. First time back in this building since that Game 7 overtime win for the Canadians against Buffalo. Frederik Andersen, a perfect 4-0 on the road in this year's playoffs. Only needed 10 saves on Saturday night. Didn't face a shot in overtime. At the other end, Jakub Dobeš lost his first in 5 starts against the Canes this year, but 6-0 following a loss in the postseason. Craig, I guess the question, can the Canadians take advantage of this tremendous environment at home?
Well, I think both these teams are accustomed to having a loud building. Rod Brind'Amour said you just come in, you absorb the energy as the visiting team. The Canadians need a home ice win, and they've won their 2 home ice wins on Games 3.
Canes have started quickly in both the first 2 games of this series, and they start with their 4th line tonight. Eric Robinson's on the ice. He has goals in the first 2 games of the series, and Robinson on that as he tried to spin it deep, but was cut off by Caden Gooley, knocked down by Robinson, and played back into the Montreal zone. Alexander Carrier, Caden Gooley, first changes underway for both teams. And out comes Jordan Staal. And we expect he'll try to go head-to-head against Nick Suzuki, but Marty St. Louis counters with Jake Evans along with Ivan Demidov and Alex Newhook. Martinook on the forecheck. Gooley takes that away. Up ahead it goes toward Demidov, kept in by Chatfield, and a shot from the point. It'll be sent across to the other side. Slavin looking for a stick in front, and now turning with the puck is Gooley. Red line and in as the Canadians again changing. It's played around. Anderson sends it to Sebastian Aho. Up at center looking for Jarvis. Chatfield follows up into Montreal ice to the hero. Ehlers across, and that one just missed and boomerangs back into the Carolina zone. Sean Walker up the boards for Aho. Out comes Slavkovsky along with Suzuki and Caulfield. In comes Aho, and Noah Dobson there to Mike Matheson. Slavkovsky deflects it deep. Anderson out to play that away from Suzuki. Caulfield swinging a miss, and Carolina will flip it away. Jarvis takes the bouncing puck and moves in deep. Sidesteps a hit from Matheson. Back it goes to Stankoven covering the point. Shot incoming, and a glove stop by Dobeš.
Well, one thing early on in both games has been early goals against by the Carolina Hurricanes. 33 seconds in game 1 by Jarvis. Robinson 2:33, and kind of a cautious start, don't you think, Chris? And says a lot about Carolina and the way that they play their lines. The bottom 6 get the first 2 opportunities to get out there. Rod Brind'Amour not afraid to play a 4-line game. Much was made in game 2, though. He did have Staal go up against Suzuki. We saw early on Suzuki's line try to get the Aho line. But this is an interesting line for him. The Stankoven line, which was just fantastic through the first 2 rounds, has basically been invisible here in games 1 and 2. I'm sure Brind'Amour looking for them to break out here in game 3.
They had just 2 shots on goal in game 2. Evans going to get waived, and he does not like that call. So Deneau, right from the get-go, Marty St. Louis defensive zone face-off with 2 centers on the ice as that bounces back to the Carolina line, and here comes Jackson Blake. He looks rinked wide. Taylor Hall trying to come up with that. Hall might be a target after he had a big hit late in the game on Leighton Hudson. A shot that hit a leg as Hall has a look from the slot. Here's Blake trying to twist away from Carrier. Hands it off to Hall. Back towards Blake. That's cut off by Carrier. Deneau trying to help out there.
The battle continues, and Dooley takes it, and around it goes for Josh Anderson, who had 2 goals in game 2 for Montreal. Stankoven back in, and a shot by Nikishin turned into the corner by Dobish. Up ahead it goes off Robinson. Anderson a bouncing puck, and Joe Valeno's in the lineup. He takes the spot of Oliver Kapanen here in game 3 to center the 4th line. There's Lane Hudson. No worse for wear after that hit that had fans worried as he limped off after game 2. Despite his size, a bit of an Iron Man, he has not missed a game in his first 2 years. Big hit there. Crashing in was Kirby Dach. Robinson past Struble, and back to the Montreal line. A lead feed for Valeno. Swings it onto the right side. Bolduc trying to cut in, but Jacob Slavin is there. A +3 and a rebound game for him on Saturday night after -4 in the opener.
Boy, that was a tough hit for Dach. Tried to make the hard hit, almost hurt himself. Always difficult when you miss the body, you go into the boards, but I think these Canadians have been sick of hearing about how many hits the Carolina Hurricanes have had, and they try to set the tone early. The first 2 games, hits are 90-34 for the Hurricanes. So you're back on home ice. You got the crowd going. It's one of your early shifts, and just look for an opportunity to make it. And you can see the little hit the hips there of Slavin, and gets the worst for wear, but pops right back up. And I always found getting that early hit, or even being hit, gets you really into the game, gets your mind going, gets your body ready to play.
Stankoven won that draw, plays it in behind the Montreal net. Taylor Hall gets on it, feeds the point, turned into the corner there by Dobish. Newhook battles for the puck. Hudson there, flips it along the boards. Keandre Miller towards Stankoven. He's cut off by Evans. And now Lane Hudson will take control. Swings it back to Matheson as he heads off.
So Chris, Marty St. Louis always talks about you got to play the shift that's given you, that presents itself. Here early on, a lot of defensive zone shifts for the Canadians. Look for some offensive push here early on.
There's Noah Dobson getting the first shot on goal for Montreal. And back the other way comes Carolina. Pass for Ehlers doesn't work, and now it's played by Evans. He gets knocked off strike by Chatfield. And it's going to be an interference call against Jalen Chatfield.
Check out 3-goal early payout brought to you by Bet365. When your team goes up 3, you get paid. It's that simple. Download the app today. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
So Chris, it's Francis Chiron with the first penalty call, and this is a timing play, but I think it's the right one. And Chatfield didn't ever even try to go for the puck, and you've got to be moving in unison with the player coming. Rod Brind'Amour, of course, doesn't like it, but that is one of those plays. If you chip by, you have to get going backwards and give up the lane if you don't have an angle. He stepped up when the puck was gone, and a first power play chance here goes to the Canadiens.
So the Canadiens 0 for 4 to start the power play. Marty St. Louis said that they have a lot of time to really get untracked in this series. A couple of abbreviated power plays. Sean Walker steps in front of that pass and heads back for Carolina. Solo mission by Walker. Bumped off the puck, and now Nick Suzuki turns with it. He'll kick it back, and Demidov hands it to Hudson. Montreal into the zone, and put that off Aho, and Carolina turns them back.
Yeah, this Carolina penalty kill has been almost at a historic rate for playoff hockey. And they really try to force on the entries. That the last few times have been difficult to get the setup.
42 of 44. They've killed off 12 consecutive over the last 4 games. And Montreal trying to gain access to the Carolina zone. Off the stick of Anderson. Demidov for Slavkovsky. He'll try and feed it back, and out comes Carolina with Nikishin on the move. Here's Nikishin in, and that floats off a stick wide. Canadians swarm Nikishin, trying to come up with a puck, but he does a good job of killing some time. Loose for Jankowski. He can't get the shot through, and finally possession regained, but Canadians with just over a half minute left, and they really haven't got the setup they've been looking for. So the second unit comes on. Bolduc back, and here's Alexander Texier. in over the line, stops it up, tries to get it to Bolduc. No shots yet. Texier knocks it down. Suzuki still out. He shot. Knocked out in front of the chance. And Anderson has to make his first tough stop as they scramble around the Carolina net. Bolduc with a look that was stopped by Anderson.
Well, Chris, this is just the 5th power play opportunity for Montreal. And the one thing for Rod Brind'Amour, the excellence of their penalty kill is one thing, but they were taking more penalties than anyone. In just the 8 games, they were going at a 5 power play against a game. Here's the end of a frustrating one, but a good job battling for the puck. Bolduc gets down, and look at the calmness there of Anderson. Knows that Bolduc hasn't got the opportunity to cut across, just keeps his arms tight into his body, stays as tall as he can, and makes a save to hold on.
13 seconds remaining on a power play that's generated 1 shot to face off win by Stahl, and the puck sent the length of the ice. Noah Dobson is back with Chatfield returning to the ice. Here's Texier flipping it in. Chasing after it against Walker. Sean Walker along the board. Stahl can't get it past Dobson. He'll try again and flip it out to center. Matheson a bank pass. Deneau is in. Here's Deneau in front. And that bounced off a Carolina stick with Dobson going to the net. Dobson back at center and now feeding it in, and Matheson's going to give chase now. Matheson took a hit from Walker. Up to the puck, Bolduc. Back, and Matheson sent it wide.
Boy, how about that? Matheson got absolutely rocked on that play. Could have been even an interference, but he pops himself right back up and almost hit that far side as he was backing up with a good scoring chance.
Goalie with 8 assists in the postseason, up ahead off Valeno. Anderson gets after it first. Here's Josh Anderson trying to twist away. Stankoven around. Gostis Parrott to the far side. Carrier trying to come up with that, but it's fed ahead, and here's Stankoven into Montreal territory, and a hot shot deflects high and out.
Well, head coach Rod Brind'Amour defended Jacob Slavin's first game. He was -4, never seen him play like that. That's what you're used to seeing. Great hand-eye, knocks a play down, and then there's that hot shot there from far out, just wide right.
Do you mind if I ask you a question? What do you make?
Well, apparently the average person makes 6 friends a year, makes 7 jokes a day, and makes about 19 people blush. We'll make 1.4 babies. Make sense of that math. On average, you make a life that is by no means average. And then you make a mean grilled cheese. Scotiabank. You're richer than you think.
With Rogers Xfinity Internet, my whole house is ready for baseball. So this is where I buy all my memorabilia. Boom! Just got Clement's childhood glove. Mom. She's really come through for me. And this is where I stream everything.
Sweet setup.
It's all for you guys.
Michael, what is this?
Oh, yeah. That's where I keep my modem.
Get Major League Internet with Rogers Xfinity.
Yeah, Wi-Fi just pouring out of that thing.
That swordfish won me the tournament.
I once had an 8-leg parlay. An octopus, if you will. Came down to a game in Detroit. The team came out hot, and yet they capsized late. Oh, not to worry. With Bet365 early payout, being up 3 goals is all you need to sail into the sunset, my boys.
Get paid out early with Bet365.
It's been a tremendous few days of the sports scene here in the city of Montreal. I talked about F1, of course, the Canadians on their run. In the house tonight, the Montreal Victoire, fresh off capturing their first Walter Cup championship in PWHL history. A first title for an ever-growing resume for Captain Marie-Philippe Poulin. Another nod to greatness for one of the greatest to ever do it, Chris.
And not surprisingly, a tremendous ovation here in the building for the Victoire. Jankowski gets waved, so William Carrier, who grew up in the Montreal area, and admitted that some of his family's still cheering for the Canadians. Here's a chance, and that knocked down in front. Bouncing to Nikishin, fired it right on. Nikishin had 11 during the regular season. He can be dangerous even if he has yet to find the mark in the postseason. The centering pass to Jankowski scores! Gostisbehere up top, and that fourth line generates the first goal of Game 3.
It tells you everything you need to know about the way Carolina prepares and Rod Brind'Amour uses his line. You get a TV timeout, you put a line that's a grind line with the third pair, and they do exactly what you hope and expect. They win the battles from in deep, get a little bit of a fortunate break as Jankowski's trying to put this to the net. It hits off Veleno, or rather Carrier in front, and then right onto the tape. Gostisbehere off the post and in. No chance at all for Dobish. But that is, quite frankly, Chris, the Carolina Hurricanes blueprint. Use everybody. You keep the top line for Montreal out because you're going against the fourth in a defensive zone, and they do their job and get, for the third game in a row, the first goal of the game.
So the Ghost has his first of the postseason. In his rookie year, he had 17. 6 times he scored double digits in goals, and on the board in the playoffs. Just the second goal for a Carolina defenseman so far this year. But again, for the third straight game against Montreal, they strike first.
Well, and how about it's that line, too, for Robinson in the first 2 games. So your fourth line all of a sudden playing some key roles and scoring some big goals. And, you know, that goes down your lineup there. It just inspires everybody else. If they're going, great job of Carrier bringing 2 guys in, but here's just off the stick of Doc in front as Jankowski, the 277's trying to go at it, and Gostisbehere sneaking in there. He's got those offensive instincts.
So another face-off in Montreal territory. 8:24 time of the goal. Gostisbehere from Jankowski and Robinson. Robinson with points in each game in the series, and Jankowski now with 3 assists in the last 4 regulation periods. The pass for Newhook, trying to catch up to that against Chatfield. Shoulder to shoulder, and Chatfield wins that battle. Aho deflects it to center, and here's Jake Evans with it. Lost control of it, trying to get it back, but Slavin stops him up. Evans through for Demidov. Now Slavin chopping it along the boards. Moving up was Struble. And played back to the Montreal line. Newhook tied up there, but able to stay with it, wins that battle. Wants a change as he sends it down, and Suzuki goes after it on the forecheck. Newhook was knocked down as he tried to get to the bench. Slavkovsky, his pass hits the skate. Martinook across. Caulfield breaks that up. And Noah Dobson takes over. So the Canadians with just 12 shots in the last game and 2 shots in the opening 10 minutes here.
So, you know, you need to try to get a response, right? We talked about Newhook and his ability. Gets back defensively, makes the play, but then looks, he's at the end of a shift, so just trying to get off, and you can see Martinook comes out, crowd wanted a call, not going to get one there, but you know the timing of that, the response, what can you do? You think of that incredible game 1, Chris. It took all of 27 seconds for the Canadians to respond to that early goal by Jarvis, and then they scored 3 more. So they have been able to respond. They have tied up the first 2 games after giving up the first one, and you kind of get a sense in this, the third game of the series, how important it is. That next goal becomes a really important one, doesn't it?
Looking for another quick response here. Matheson ahead. Here's Deneau working his way in. Deneau up to 10 points in the playoffs. That's a career best. Matheson at the line. His shot off the inboards out in front. And Deneau got a stick on that, sent it wide. Texier cycling it back. Deneau tied up by Stahl. 2 great defensive centers working against each other as it comes around. And there's Dobson moving up to hold the zone. DeAndre Miller plays it past Dobson, and Jackson Blake after it, but the smooth skating Matheson gets back first.
I like how aggressive Dobson is there, though. You got some pressure on, keep it up. The defense not afraid to pinch in, knowing they have support behind.
Here's Suzuki digging in, curls inside the line, feeds it back. It's Carrier in front. Slavkovsky with the tip, stopped by Anderson. Good chance there. Now Hall the other way with Cooley on his back. Cooley rides him off the puck, and the captain will take over. Carrier looks rink wide. There's Caulfield with Suzuki on the move over the line, and the play is just offside.
Well, that's what the aggressiveness brings. It brings a little energy to your lineup. You're going forward, thinking offense. A curl back from Suzuki. This shot pass gets tipped there by Slafkovsky off his skate, off the toe, up the post and out.
Invest in what you're really invested in, with custom goals and personalized advice from Scotia Smart Investor. Scotiabank, you're richer than you think.
Chevy Silverado, and a family weekend, and no time to waste. An available Super Cruise, the only hands-free towing tech on the road, so you can go big and go home feeling more relaxed.
The offer you've been waiting for is here. During the Chevrolet 0% event, get 0% financing on select 2026 models and terms. Hurry to your nearest dealership now.
Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Tim's Taste of the Globe. Here's lime cheesecake Timbit. Oh, chocolate creme brulee Timbit with a decadent takeaway. And fireworks Timbit scores! Pop it off in celebration! It's game on at Tim's with new Timbits in ice cap flavors from around the globe.
So I hammer the rudder and we go perpendicular.
Mark that a win.
That's nothing. I took the heavy dog at plus money. They went vertical out of the gate. Then they got outmaneuvered. Blew the lead.
Tower, we got a loser on our sides.
Negative Tower, his win is a go. With Bet365's early payout, I won the second they went up big.
Get paid out early with Bet365.
Mark Jankowski has assisted on 3 of the last 4 Carolina goals. He comes from championship pedigree. His great uncle, Red Kelly, who was an 8-time Stanley Cup winner with Detroit and Toronto, played against Montreal in the postseason 13 times between 1949 and 67. Mark mentioned the first time he ever went into Red Kelly's office, and there's 8 Stanley Cups and a Norris Trophy. And
a little awe-inspiring, yeah. Talk about wanting to be a hockey player by doing that, for sure.
Of course, Red Kelly traded to Toronto, and he was a defenseman, and the Leafs traded for him to play center so they'd have an answer for Jean Beliveau.
Yeah, you always, you think of the original 6 and all the history, and you see it in the fans, and you see it around the arenas, but talk about matchups and grudges. You're playing against the same team all the time. In the playoffs, it's a lot of matches going back and forth when there's only 6 compared to the 32 you got to deal with now.
Off the draw, Carrier sends it in. Deflected along the boards, but Bolduc is there. Bolduc along with Veleno comes loose for Doc, who has scored in each of the previous game 3s, and Anderson's got that with Veleno on the doorstep.
So maybe the first really big save. Although we saw the tip, it got the blade of Anderson there. But this is, again, a great fourth line work. You work in the corner, get it back to the point, the quick shot through traffic. Veleno did a nice job of helping in the corner and then try to get in the eyes of the goaltender there. That's something that, for the Canadians, they got to get more shots on, obviously, than they did with just the 12 in the overtime loss in game 2. But you have to have that traffic in front. When they had it against the Buffalo Sabres, they had lots of success, Chris, taking away the eyes of the goaltender.
Veleno played the first 6 games against Buffalo, did not play game 7. Here's Hudson back, and a shot by Demidov is blocked and flipped away. Struble gets back ahead of Martinook, and now it's Martinook taking a run at Hudson, who played it ahead off the skate of Evans, but following up, it's Newhook into Carolina territory. Deep for Demidov, shoulder to shoulder with Stahl. Around it comes, and it's played past Hudson, back out to center. Whips that ahead off the glove of Martinook, and Demidov will roll it back in. Shots 5-3 Carolina, and the Hurricanes with the first period lead. There's a big hit on Evans. Newhook behind the net, draped there along the boards by Stahl. And bouncing back to center. Canadians trying to keep a first period goal streak alive. They have first period goals in 10 consecutive games. Here's Slavkovsky in. And that one muffled by Chatfield. Suzuki trying to get it through to Caulfield. He is knocked out a heavy jolt there. And it was Svechnikov delivering it, and he goes to work on the offense now. Svechnikov for Aho, overskates it. Back the other way, Suzuki. Looking for Anderson, who was ahead of the play, and Suzuki unable to get that pass through and had to wait for Anderson to get back on side.
Anderson had bowled into Slavin there and just tried to take off, didn't really realize where the puck was going to be offside.
Suzuki ahead, and Anderson trying to give it back to the captain. In deep against Nikishin. Around it comes, and it'll be Blake rink wide. So Anderson came on early there for Caulfield, who took a big hit. We'll watch to see if Caulfield's okay, and another big hit just dished out. Now Gooley working against Taylor Hall. Here's Nikishin, and Dobish gets a piece of that. Along the boards, there's a hit by Suzuki. Hall's shot doesn't get through. Slavkovsky unable to come up with it. It's Nikishin again, gloved and held by Dobish.
Check out 3-goal early payout brought to you by Bet365. When your team goes up 3, you get paid. It's that simple. Download the app today. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
Well, the intensity of this game, there's been a lot of hits. We've already seen an interference hit earlier. Here's another one right to the head of Caulfield there. Svechnikov, puck was gone, no penalty there, no penalty on that one as Anderson, who got hit earlier on, coming right back at it. And Chris, you get to this third round, the all-importance of, you know, who's going to take the lead. Montreal did exactly what they needed to do going to Carolina. You get home ice back. Now it's a best of 5, and I kind of expected this to be the game for Carolina, trying to come in here and do the same, win one on the road. The Canadians, with their struggles to win at home, this is a huge game for them, and it's been a physical one to start.
Well, wins a draw, and away goes Texier. DeAndre Miller back. Deneau trying to follow up. It slides to Texier. Now Carrier back for Texier. Deneau in behind the net. Cycles it back. Texier, Carrier, watched by Robinson. Bill Deneau behind the net. Canadians trying to get open in front. Deneau works it back to the line for Gooley. In deep, Doc able to reach and come up with that. Here's Kirby Doc trying to work out against Jankowski. Bump that. Gooley breaks his stick from a pretty good spot, and now Carrier with it outside the line. Tied up there by Doc and fished out by Miller. Walker off the boards ahead. Bump there was Stahl. Struble knocks it loose. Demidov on it. Martinook trying to pick his pocket. Bounces to the near side. Martinook and a reverse hit there by Struble. Work loose and in behind the net. A centering pass for Stahl picked off. Newhook trying to get away. Working against Nikishin. And Nikishin comes back to regain possession for the Canes. Evans steals the puck. Gets it to Demidov. Here's a chance. Scores! Mike Matheson!
We saw earlier the hard shot by Matheson that missed just hard to the right. Great work down low by Evans, and then Demidov, tape to tape. Let your instincts take over, no hesitation. Watch how quickly gets it set. Quick little wrister up and over the glove, between the glove and the head. Look at how little room there was for him to hit there, and he did exactly that. Quick release, Lots on that one. Matheson, as you mentioned, Chris, now the 11th straight game the Canadians have scored a first period one, and you got a feeling that was a pretty big one to tie this back up at one.
Here's Svechnikov sending it wide, so again, Montreal with a response. Each time Carolina has scored, at least in regulation time, they've had an answer. Now Carolina trying to answer back. Slavkovsky in his own zone, and Matheson. Caulfield back on the ice after taking that hit from Svechnikov. So Carolina gets a goal from a blue liner, and Montreal responds with one in turn. There's a glove save by Dobish, who holds on. Matheson from Demidov and Evans, and that ignites the fans in and outside the building.
Enjoy the game at the game with free tickets from Scotia Perks. Scotiabank, you're richer than you think.
The Ford, it's a event? The Ford, it's a big deal event. Right now, lease this F-150 for $237 bi-weekly. That's like $119 a week.
The Government of Canada is bringing down your costs so you can get ahead. We're helping you with an income tax cut, access to dental care, affordable childcare, the new Canada Groceries and Essentials benefit, and tax savings on your first home. Learn about these and other ways to help you get ahead at canada.ca/gettingahead.
When it all comes together, it could mean you're ready to talk to your doctor about Wegovy. Ask for Wegovy by name. Visit wegovy.ca for savings.
I think we're just so motivated to make this work and see this through. Most of us have been together for a few years now, trying to get through this rebuild, and we're excited to be where we're at.
That was Mike Matheson talking his team's willingness to defend. The last 2 to 3 years, they've been building an environment and behaviors with the group that anytime a new player comes into the fold, they just fall in line. As Martin St. Louis said, it's almost hard to describe, but you know when you have it. It's Matheson that had the response for Canadians here in the first, Chris.
Off the draw, Carolina with possession of the puck. Martin St. Louis had an interesting comment today. Here's a chance at they score the rebound, and it is Taylor Hall with a quick response for Carolina.
And look at the difference in this crowd. You're on the road in a big moment. Fans are excited. This is what Carolina does. They just keep the puck open. There's a play that just misread from the point there. As you can see, Anderson misses his guy. Miller gets inside position. It's a dump to an area, and then the third try there for Hall. And Chris was mentioning before, this line has not had many chances at all after having a great first 2 rounds. And it's Taylor Hall on the doorstep, not once, not twice, but the third time able to chip it past Novich. But it's Miller coming in from the point and beating Anderson's coverage that made that possible.
So Taylor Hall has his 4th of the postseason. Miller and Blake the assists. It comes 54 seconds after the Matheson goal that had equalized for the Canadians. And the Hurricanes back in the Montreal zone. Is that a hand pass? It is. Bolduc doesn't want to play it, but finally touched up. And the whistle called. Coach Eric and Tammy may have their fumbles, but they always work like a team. Join Team Taylor on Friday Night Lights. Stream now on CBC Gem.
Well, for Taylor Hall, he had net points in 2 after points in 7 of the first 8 games. And he's been really rejuvenated here in Carolina and had to be a little frustrated in the first 2 games, not really getting much. But he's on the board here.
20th career playoff goal for Hall.
Well, one thing Montreal's done so well, Chris, is there's been a lot of offensive zone time for Carolina. Their defensive coverage has been tight and excellent.
Dobson trying to get it through to the net. After it in the corner. Doc arrives to help out. Robinson swings that past Hudson and out. And an icing call against the Canes.
You know, there haven't been too many instances where they've missed those coverage plays. Offensive zone time in this series has been really skewed towards Carolina. Game 2 itself was offensive zone possession, 940 for Carolina, just 539 for Montreal. So they've had to defend, and you kind of expect that with a Carolina team that throws everything to the net. But I think Marty St. Louis has been happy with the way his team has selectively defended, but there's one little breakdown and it ends up in the back of your net.
Canadians now +9 in the first period in these playoffs. That's the best. And 24 of their 52 goals have been scored in the opening period. Look by Matheson to try and regain possession. Carry a tag there by Martinook. Long board battles. Suzuki on the outside of it. The puck comes free for Walker. John Walker to the short side. The rebound here for Stahl. Matheson's lost his stick. It comes across. Sizing it up is Nick Ehlers. Ehlers for Walker. In shot, and that hit traffic in front. I think it went off the back of Carrier. Stahl on it. Back to the line. Miller. Slafkovsky's giving his stick to the defenseman Matheson, and that puck out of play.
Well, you see the defense is digging in after you break your stick, grab somebody else's. Matheson, that is just one heck of a hard work shift. And that is why Rod Brindamore has that line together. Martinook is a big body. He battles to the front of the net. Stahl, in his 20th year, just has had a great playoff as well, and he protects the puck so well. He's a big physical body, and then you've got the game breaker in Ehlers, and that combination of those three put together earlier in the year have really come together to be a tough line to play against.
The regular season games played just under 3,000 combined, 2,956. Here's Newhook trying to charge after a puck deep in the Carolina zone. Around it goes. It gets by Hudson and back the other way. Carolina might have a break. It's Svechnikov, and it's stopped there by Dovish. Svechnikov gets his own rebound. Back to Gostisbehere. And across. That deflected front, and I'm going to get a penalty as Gooley put a little bit of a clutch on Svechnikov with a rebound ricocheting past the Carolina forward. Back in Aho, Gooley, be careful, he might get another for the same call. It'll come back to the line to Keeshan, and now Montreal touch up.
Well, I mentioned how aggressive the D have been for the Canadians, jumping in and pinching in, and this is the end result of a heck of a save by Dovish. But Hudson had chipped in and tried to pinch in the offensive zone. Now you're chasing a little bit, and just the grab at the last second. Svechnikov driving to the net. Gooley lost his footing for a split second, couldn't block him out, and ends up getting the little tug.
So Carolina on the power play in the series, 0 for 5. 3 for 21 on the road, and operating at under 12% in the playoffs so far.
Yeah, they were the 4th best in the regular season, 224.9, so a big drop-off in the playoffs.
And a face-off win, and a shot there by Miller, stopped by Dovish. Matheson around off Miller. Teams a bouncing puck, knocks it back into the corner. Second try, Matheson does get it 200 feet. Here in the final minute of this first period of game 3. Miller shifting gears. Miller charging in, and he sent that high. Around it goes, chopped past Stankoven, kept in by Hall. Knocked down by Matheson. Here's Taylor Hall again. Centering pass, Matheson sprawled and got a stick on that. To the line it goes. Stankoven from the corner out in front. A chance here, Hall batting away a loose puck. And that kept out as Miller gets it back. Atkins sends that wide. And that'll ricochet to the line, kept alive. Pressure here in the dying seconds, but time expires. There'll be a 1:01 remaining in the goalie penalty to start the second.
Well, a couple of big saves, though, for Dobish. He got one with the glove earlier on, but then this last one, he knew that he didn't have complete control of it. He knew it rolled down his arm, down the pad, and you could see Hall on the doorstep. Deneau comes right back down and makes sure he takes Hall's stick away. Oh, rolled, thankfully for Dobish, to the front as opposed to the back of his pad, and able to shut the door and keep it a one-goal game after one.
Shots 14-5 Carolina in the first period. They get goals from Gostisbehere and Taylor Hall. In between, Mike Matheson with his third of the postseason for the Canadians. Ron Jen, Luke Colby, David and Elliott in our first intermission. Coming up.
This period brought to you by Scotiabank. You could earn up to $700 when you switch to a Scotiabank banking package. Learn more at scotiabank.com/perks. Tomorrow,
Your star forward is not 100%. Your star defenseman is not 100%. Just keeps looking grimmer and grimmer.
Hockey Central sets you up for a Wild West shocker. The Avalanche had the momentum early, but in Vegas, the house always wins. The Golden Knights are one win away from the Stanley Cup Final. It's win or go home for the President's Trophy winners. Can they save their season?
They need a hero here quickly.
You just have to watch the Stanley Cup Playoffs on Sportsnet.
Here's Cole Caulfield in a bathrobe. Here's Old Spice Total Body for armpits, chest, feet.
Old Spice.
Even Cole's trainer has noticed. That's not part of his job.
I got dreams in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. I got dreams in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't.
Buck Martinez here with the Buck & Inch deal by Pizza Pizza. Get a 12-inch medium two-topper for $12. 14-inch, $14. A huge 18-inch, $18. Buck & Inch, only at Pizza Pizza.
With Nicorette, I'm finally quitting for real. I'm facing the cravings, the triggers, refusing to give in. That's real quitting. The journey wasn't easy, but real freedom is worth it. With Nicorette, you're up to 2 times more likely to quit. Nicorette, quitting made real.
Only to be used by adults who are trying to quit smoking. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is highly addictive.
Tim's Taste of the Globe. Here's lime cheesecake Timbit. Oh, chocolate creme brulee Timbit with a decadent takeaway. And fireworks Timbit scores! Pop it off in celebration! It's game on at Tim's with new Timbits in ice cap flavors from around the globe.
Toyota takes you there. Don't miss out. Red Tag Days are on now at your local Toyota dealer.
If this one opens that, you have absolutely everything. I'm going to break a rule. I'm going to give you one more shot. You've never done this before. I want to put $70,000. This is your last chance. Show her. This is The Price is Right tonight.
Stanley Cup playoffs on Sportsnet brought to you by Rogers. Dobish, 2 key saves at the end of the period, so the Canes up by a goal with Jennifer, Colby, and Luke. Colby, I know what you're going to say for your thought. I just want a preemptive strike here. It's an 8 o'clock start. So in addition to everything else, all the madness of Montreal, that 1 hour later on a night, you know, those guys are just, they're worn out by 4 in the afternoon. It feels like Montreal.
Yeah, and at home ice, right? Like, I look at the numbers, right? 6-0 after a loss, but 2-on-4 on home ice. And like, why? And why do they look like that off the start? They look jittery to me. I don't know if you guys probably saw that as well, with Carolina kind of getting to their game and a little bit unsure, jittery play from that pressure from Carolina.
It just continues to surprise me. Their starts are so slow and so sloppy with everything that's going on around the rink, the city, everything that comes with it. It's the Eastern Conference Finals. There's 4 teams left in the NHL right now.
But that's the thing. It's nerves.
Hey, that's what it is.
Yeah, I know it can be, but I just, you can have nerves. You can also still have energy and pace. And I didn't love their start.
Right, it took a while for the Canadiens to sort of settle in. And you think about the Carolina Hurricanes, and we know that they like to play an assertive style. And if you felt like their D was very involved in the game, you are correct. The D for the Hurricanes had 17 shot attempts, 9 of which hit the net. So 17 attempts, that's the most of any D group in this playoffs. So you think about Chatfield, whether it's the middle drive, Nikishin was all over it, getting shots through to the net. And you see their D, they are making decisions early to join the play. So whether it's at their own blue line or their own red line, and when it's in the offensive zone, look how well they collapse. Often you see their 2D that are below the tops of the circle in the offensive zone. And then eventually, this is the one where Gostisbehere comes in. He's below the face-off dot at the edge of the slot area to capture that one. Then you see Miller looking for his options. Another example, Blake, had some good offensive zone time in terms of that possession. He just wins the race. He beats Anderson to the low area, gets the puck in front. So you know this group, the D, they always have the green light to go, but you just see that connected style of play, covering on the defensive side of things, but always that option to be assertive, to join the play and to attack when the opportunity's there.
Shout out Taylor Hall, my former roommate, Kingston, Ontario, having the playoffs of his life. I said I didn't like Montreal's start, but I did love their goal. You want to talk about second efforts? You want to talk about, getting beat on a one-on-one and staying with the puck, staying with the play. Alex Newhook representing an entire province out east in Newfoundland here. Nikishin does a great job staying with him. This is a great D clip, but what does he do? Right back at him, Cole. Like no worries, no doubts. Who's in second quick on the forecheck? Mr. Jake Evans. And an absolute bullet from the point from Mike Matheson. But I absolutely love this. He loses the puck. He goes and gets it back. There's his center and Evans giving him some help. 1 battle 1, 2 battle 1, up to Matheson. Bar it in. That's the sound of hockey right there.
Demidov kind of came in and pushed Gostisbehere into that pile, was able to get to the other side of the net. That's kind of the creativity and thinking you have to have. I think they're better suited to play closer together, and I think on their breakouts as well, catching them quick, catching them confused, but trying to identify guys. I thought in Game 1, right, that they were able to spread out that Carolina D, and this is a great example too of, if you have speed and you're going to have to beat guys one-on-one because of the way they play, hang on to pucks. We saw Newhook do that, hung on to the puck, got to the puck. It wasn't the first battle, it wasn't the second one. Suzuki, a great job there as well. And right here, just in transition on this team, they want to identify. Jackson Blake's got Suzuki. We see right there, Stankoven on Carrier. Watch Suzuki off this play right here. You want to beat your guys? Beat him one-on-one. He jumps to the other side. Now you move to the neutral zone. These Carolina D, they want to be up. They're late getting there right now because they transitioned up really quick. Caulfield does a great job getting up and then coming back into this play. Slavkovsky at the bottom, they want to stay with their guys, but Suzuki's on the right side, beats his man one-on-one away from the puck, up ice, offside. Unfortunately, they had numbers and they had guys going. This play as well, Kirby Dach in zone to the point of that one-on-one game, guys. It's okay. You might feel under pressure. You want to bump pucks. I think they should hang on to it. Hang on to it, keep fighting, live till a play opens up and find a player or find the next play, because they're going to pressure. They're going to have their second and third guys there. And if you can isolate one-on-one and win those battles, whether it's through the neutral zone with or without the puck or in zone, you have a better chance of breaking through on these guys. They're just so detailed with their game as Carolina.
I think another key element to that is just the speed for Montreal. They have it. And you see where you beat 2 players at your own blue line, that gives you a chance. Even on the battle, the goal that they scored, they're winning those races in tight to create those opportunities. And that's when you can capitalize, because you know the Hurricanes are looking for that turnover and transition.
I've got some Disneyland plays in my head for Montreal and how to beat this.
Nice.
I do.
Oh, stay tuned for the second intermission. Yes.
The Slavin Chatfield pair is a brick wall.
So good.
It continues to be unreal.
So because Marty St. Louis has been known to say, we let the puck do the work, but you're saying hang on to the puck a little more. The fact is, though, Slavkovsky wanted the puck and went offside terrible. Is that their danger of, if Suzuki holds on to the puck?
Yeah.
Guys are breaking. Is that what you think happened there?
Yeah, I think just confusion of who it was going to, and it was picked off. They had numbers. It was unfortunate they went offside, but getting through the neutral zone, execute with speed, catch them in confusion. They're trying to identify, they're trying to get to their guys, Jen, and if you can catch them before that, you can expose them.
But I also feel like that's the Canadians settling in, because there was times Anderson was jumping too quickly over the blue line, Slavkovsky. So that's a good sign they're ready, but maybe it's balancing some of that emotion, the energy, into smart decisions and timing.
Very good. David, Elliott.
All right, well, we heard Luke mention the lack of energy off the top. You had a comment on that.
So you know what? I was listening to Luke there, and Dave and I have been discussing about this. Montreal's record isn't good at home. They've been starting poorly at home. I wonder if Martin St. Louis, if there's any chance he's thinking about going to the hotel at home, Dave. You know, Buffalo tried it Game 7. They didn't win. But it's just something I've been thinking about. Do you change it up? Do you try something new? Do you go to the hotel at home to maybe try to get a better start? See what Luke has to say when it gets back to him.
Oh, good luck. We could barely find a hotel in this city with that 1 week.
That is true, yes.
What about the not the chippiness we saw in the Buffalo series, but certainly the physicality starting to ratchet up, something we took note of?
You know, one of the things that really makes a crowd go is physicality, and there was a lot of it in this first period. Carolina plays hard. Montreal doesn't necessarily have the reputation of being the hardest or most physical team. This is the big one in the period, and Caulfield, it's good to see it was okay. But Montreal's been dishing as well as they've been getting. And you know what? They're being outshot, 16-5. There's not a lot of offense, the Matheson goal, but definitely the physicality of anything that's been getting the Canadiens crowd going in this game, it's been that.
And Ron Bridmore said, guys have to get out of their comfort zone. We're not known as a physical team, but we're going to block shots. We're going to be physical. This is the Stanley Cup playoffs after all.
You have a 10-second response?
I don't have all the answers, mostly just questions.
I have a friend that owns a hotel in Montreal, so hit me up.
This was before the anthems. Cole Caulfield obviously visualizing, and that's the hit that Elliott showed. Yeah, 2 shots for Cole Caulfield. They need their 51-goal gunner. More of our coverage after this.
The dream. Rogers. This is our game.
When you have a puck. No, this way, this way.
Hey, how are you?
Living the dream.
Let's go.
I like thin ham.
Thin?
Big sliced, honey sweet. When all he wants is a different meat. Thin enough you can see right through me. I wanna make the sandwich of your dreams.
We are a housing, energy, and defense company. Every day, we deliver the essentials that life depends on. Because possibility doesn't happen by chance. It's built. It's powered. It's protected. So when the next generation asks what we stand for, we can say we gave them something to stand on and the freedom to imagine more. ATCO, possibilities for generations.
Introducing new Crest Clean Breath. Unlike a regular toothpaste, it doesn't just mask bad breath, it neutralizes bacteria for long-lasting, cleaner breath. Get that clinically proven Crest Clean Breath.
The quest begins with the Buffalo Sabres. Go behind the scenes with one team for each round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Quest for the Cup, only on NHL YouTube.
Hope, faith, belief.
Okay, stay cool. Conference finals crunch time. Don't look at that clock.
It took so long to get here. Why is my hand shaking?
Hey, you good? Totally, except I'm totally not good. It's not just intensity. It's insanity. Lord Stanley, if you're listening, we don't want the cup. We need to bring it home.
Shot scores! You cannot script this stuff, and that is the beauty of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
The Big Board presented by Bet365, official partner of the NHL. You always said the cards would never do you wrong. The trick is never to play the game too long. Vegas, the Knights move to the final, potentially tomorrow evening. The Big Board presented by Bet365, official partner of the NHL. Download the app today. It's 2-1 Carolina. We'll get you back to Chris, Craig, and Kyle in Game 3 in Montreal on Hockey Night next.
believe.
Okay, stay cool. Conference finals crunch time. Don't look at that clock.
It took so long to get here. Why is my hand shaking? Hey, you good?
Totally, except I'm totally not good. It's not just intensity. It's insanity. Lord Stanley, if you're listening, we don't want the Cub. We need to bring it home.
Shot scores! You cannot script this stuff, and that is the beauty of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
What would you like to taste today?
Every coffee, a new world. Every sip, a new taste. Keep exploring with new Virtua Up Nespresso. What else?
At Asante Wealth Management, we don't believe in shortcuts. Your financial success should be nurtured year after year after year. And your relationship with your advisor should be no different. Built on understanding, trust, and time. When you succeed, we succeed with you. That's what you deserve. That's what we promise. Asante, all success is personal.
When you've been in Canada for 240 years, you get around. Because it doesn't matter what it's in, it matters where it's from. Molson, everyone in.
It takes passion and dedication to meet Cavendish Farms' high standards for late night snacks, the ultimate breakfast, and delicious dinners. Canadians can count on Cavendish Farms for top quality every time.
With Rogers Xfinity Internet, my whole house is ready for baseball. So this is where I buy all my memorabilia. Boom! She's got Clement's childhood glove. Mom. She's really come through for me. And this is where I stream everything.
Sweet setup.
It's all for you guys.
Michael, what is this?
Oh, yeah. That's where I keep my modem.
Get Major League Internet with Rogers Xfinity.
Yeah, Wi-Fi is just pouring out of that thing.
The quest begins with the Buffalo Sabres. Go behind the scenes with one team for each round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Quest for the Cup, only on NHL YouTube.
The best of Canadian film and TV dressed up and ready for their big night. Andrew Fung hosts the 2026 Canadian Screen Awards Sunday at 8 Eastern on CBC and CBC Gem. Rod Brind'Amour played 2 series against the Canadians as a player with the Hurricanes. They won both of them. In 2006, they won all 3 games here in this building. Brind'Amour had a pair of goals himself. He said some of those games that they won here were the kind of games that galvanized the group and helped springboard a long playoff run, of course, winning it all in 06. As a kid, he loved the Canadians. He has a lot of good memories in this city, Chris.
And a huge fan of Guy Lafleur. He had the Guy Lafleur poster in the bedroom. He said, didn't he? Ended up getting a stick. He said one of the highlights of his career was lining up in the Colisée right beside his hero.
Yeah, it's amazing. I got a chance to play against Lafleur as well, and you're kind of looking at yourself. I can't believe he's still playing in this game. And just the great memories as a kid. Every guy has somebody you look up to, and now they're the ones that are being looked up to, these players on the ice. I like Rod after game 1, he was asked, what does his team need to do better? You know, what do you have to change about your game? And he said, well, that wasn't our game. I mean, he truly had not seen his team play as poorly as they did in game 1. I think he's feeling like his team has got its identity back. They're playing much more like the Hurricanes of this season. And he's got to be pretty happy with that.
They have a 2-1 lead, and they have the power play for just under a minute to start the second period. Ended up with 15 shots on goal in that opening period as they recalibrate. It comes back to Svechnikov. His shot off Evans and out, and 9 of the shots came from the blue line.
Well, that's really a big part of their offense, too, is their blue line being activated. You see Gostisbehere with the goal earlier on. He's, you know, even a third pairing guy that has a green light because he's so talented offensively. Every city he's gone to, he's been able to produce offensively, and here he is to start the period on the power play at the back end. So it's a big part of their offensive makeup.
Pens had 5 shots on goal in each of the first 2 games. During the regular season, only the Colorado Avalanche had more shots from their blue line than Carolina. Here's Here's Gostisbehere kicking it back. It'll be Nick Ehlers to the Montreal line. And through! And Ehlers! Stopped by Dobish. As it opened up, I think it even surprised Nick Ehlers.
Well, it was Matheson that surprised. You know, so many on the entries, you put it to the flank, to the outside, and try to get control. And it looked like Ehlers was going to do that. Kind of fake that he was, but he lost the puck, and there's Matheson overplayed it to the outside. There's a great adjustment in the middle of the play. Lose control, get it right back. And, boy, I thought Ehlers could have even walked in a little bit further there, Chris, had he been able to hold on to the puck a little longer.
Game 2 hero and 4 goals in his last 5 games. Ehlers with it again, taken away by Matheson, and he'll clear.
No hesitation there. That was a great read by Matheson. You got a guy fumbling with the puck, be aggressive at the right time, good stick, and he clears his zone. Well played.
There's Seth Jarvis in, but Carolina with the most chances through the first 2 games. The penalty to Gooley is done. 4 shots on that power play. Separated by the first intermission for Carolina, but unable to enhance the lead. Martinic check. Svechnikov takes over. Walker's shot, and that blocked by Deneau. Deneau chops it away. Now the Canadians break out. Anderson on the right side. Chipped in deep by Deneau. End of a shift for him. Anderson on the forecheck. It comes around and played past Dobson and out. Lane Hudson rink wide. Off the bench. And into the action to get that puck was Carrier, and now Carrier will step in on the forecheck. It's played by Dobish to the near side. To the line, Dobson was knocked down, and back to get it is Evans. Trying to skeet away from Jackson Blake. Blake up with the puck, and now off a hurricane and out. Newhook gets a little chop in there on Gostisbehere. Taken away here by Jackson Blake. Here's Blake in front, and that taken back by Evans, but he gives it away. Canadians having some trouble getting out of their own zone. Now Lane Hudson will get to the red line and get it deep. Changing underway. Here's Newhook behind the net. Alex Newhook cycles it back. Slavkovsky out now. He's checked on the play. Moving up Struble. Gives it to Suzuki. Back to the line. Gooley gets a touch for Caulfield. And whips the shot. Rebound. And that was Struble in front, getting a rebound chance for Montreal.
Well, good recovery there on the heels of a couple of uncharacteristic turnovers by Evans. Such a good player defensively. A bobbled puck, an opportunity at the net. Great stick to come back and make the play defensively. Okay, shoot, got rid of that. Well, couldn't quite do it again. You looked at his face when he went to the bench. He couldn't believe it. And Caulfield, it kind of looked a little bit like the Eichel shot there from the other night. A different angle maybe, but tried to squeeze one through on Anderson. Anderson able to hold on.
You were seeing room far side, were you?
Yeah, a little bit. It didn't lose his net quite as badly as the one Eichel scored.
There's Suzuki working his way back in. Just 2 assists at home for Nick Suzuki, and yet here he is tied for 3rd in playoff scoring. Kicks it back to Slavkovsky. A goal and an assist at home, and he fired that miss short side. Off the boards, but not out. Dobson plays it into the glove, and a little pushback here by Montreal.
Yeah, kind of listening to in the studio. You know, the elephant in the room here is just not shots on goal. You go in the last 4 periods. Overtime obviously wasn't the entire period, but 7 of the 8 regulation periods in this series, they've had 7 shots or less. And, you know, at some point, that's just not enough. You're defending far too much. You've got to get that mindset. Colby said hold on to the puck a little bit more. That last shift was a great example of having some confidence in making some plays, getting some cycle plays happening.
That has been a familiar refrain from the players, talking about more puck possession. Kept in at the line by Hudson. Now working out is Walker, and from center, Jankowski drops it in. Goes around for Hudson. That's off his stick. Here's Robinson trying to come out in front. Doc takes a hit, but gets it ahead. It bounces past Bolduc. Following up was Valeno. Keandre Miller had 4 shots in the opening period. Hudson at center will bounce it back in. John Walker off Ehlers, and now Robinson steers it in. Carolina starts to change. A hit there on Hudson. It'll come back to Gostisbehere. He'll try and work wide on Anderson, and we've got a penalty. And it's going to go against Jordan Martinook in front.
This is Martinook just trying to come out and be aggressive as he can. You know the target is on the back of Hudson, as he has been so dynamic throughout these playoffs. You know he's wanting to carry the puck. Here's the hard hit, gets him in, but then getting to the front of the net, it's just one hand on his stick. Martinook saying he was hardly holding on, but they're targeting him every time he gets near the puck. Here's a big break for Montreal. That, to me, is just one hand. He didn't hold it all that much. It was away from the play. So, Chris, if you're ever looking for a freebie, this is a bit of one for Montreal. This is an opportunity to tie the game at a critical point. Hudson at the end of the shift stays out there. He's had a 50-second shift prior to it, but plenty of time to catch his breath.
5 power play goals against Tampa Bay, 8 against Buffalo, looking for their first against Carolina here in the Eastern Conference Final. Slavkovsky across off the skate to Suzuki and bumped down into the Canadian zone. Stahl out there in a penalty-killing role, along with Jankowski. Pretty big wingspan here for them, but here's Caulfield in front, scores! Wayne Hudson!
I love this. We've had so much problems on the entry when you go to the flank and then try to stop. Instead, take what they give you. Darts through the middle. It's Hudson using his speed, and then look, just takes off through. Thinks he's going to stop. Chatfield overplays. Now you've got a 2-on-1. Just a beautiful play by Caulfield. You know, for Freddie Anderson, you have to respect the shot of Caulfield to the outside. He made it look like he was going to shoot for a second. That froze Anderson, and a little tap-in pass across, and Hudson is on the board, and we've got a 2-2 game.
It's Layne Hudson's third of the postseason and his first in 14 games. Here comes Demidov in behind the net, and now Evans trying to get it back to the point. Taken away and sent out. So the Canadians answer for the second time. Big hit by Demidov at center. And Carrier drops it back in. Remember, Carolina able to return fire 54 seconds after the first Montreal goal. It came off the stick of Hall. Back in with Blake. Knocked away from him. Keandre Miller across. One-timer in front. Dobish down. And the Canadians able to clear. Evans comes up with it along the boards. He's checked. Stankoven trying to center. That broken up by Carrier. Alex Newhook. Back around for Gooley. It gets by him. Hall along the boards for Stankoven. In behind the net, it's Carrier for the Canadians. Off Evans and out to center. Shane Gostisbehere onto that right side. Back in the come with a hot shot by Jarvis goes high. It's Sebastian Aho with the puck. Aho looking to center. That hit escaped. Carolina trying to get it back. And Aho redirects it out to center under pressure from Texier. But the Hurricanes right back into Montreal territory. Around it goes past Jarvis and Anderson out. Up ahead to No. He'll roll it in and Anderson chases after it. Played past Texier. Dobson moves up. With Texier they come up with a puck. Texier trying to play it back, and here's Jarvis and Aho back the other way. Odd man rush, and the pass across disrupted. Opening up a little bit. Dobson ahead. Away goes Deneau. Over the line is Phil Deneau. They're changing in behind him, so waiting for help. Matheson a goal scorer tonight. In behind the net. Chatfield up the boards. Dobson there. It gets past him. And out it is. It goes for Martinook and Ehlers. Ehlers looks across. Jordan Stahl backhands that, and Doc is there. Martinook runs him in the corner. Up the boards and Stahl. Checked by Bolduc. And away goes Kirby Doc. Doc swings in. On this right flank. Sends it in and around, and Struble activates. It's Bolduc sending it off the flop of Anderson. And that almost dropped down. Doc. Hudson. Wayne Hudson switches spots with Struble, works his way in, got hacked by Martinook, turns back, flips that toward the net, and fronted by Slavin. And Hudson trying to seal the wall, but Martinook able to play it out.
That's where you could see Slavin there, Chris. He knew the danger behind him. He made sure he didn't allow that one to get through.
Back in, Slafkovsky can't charge through against 3 Hurricanes. Now a lead feeding, it's Jankowski. Carrier going to the net, Robinson on the other side. In behind for Carrier. Watched by Struble. And now bumped out by Caulfield.
Great job by Struble, making sure he didn't get a penalty there. Had his stick in a dangerous spot, but kept it away from the hands and poked the puck away.
Goal-scoring play for the Canadiens. Hudson's third on the power play. Caulfield and Jakob Dobush. And here come the Canadiens again. Caulfield's in front, Suzuki. That shot blocked by Blake. Suzuki gets it back. Across it goes to Caden Gooley's shot, blocked by Hall. Gooley gets it again. Gooley swings it in behind the net. Slafkovsky unable to knock that down. Suzuki bumped. Played wide by Carrier. A sprawling stick from Jankowski knocks it ahead, and now Jackson Blake after it in the Montreal zone. Nick Suzuki. Slafkovsky has Caulfield. Oh, he was loose and he couldn't get it across. Caulfield loose on the far side, and now the other way. Here's an odd man rush for Blake. Svechnikov! Stopped by Dobush. Big stop for Jakob Dobush off Svechnikov, looking for his first conference finals goal. Back in come the Canadiens, and that didn't miss by much. Suzuki with a look.
See what a goal does to the game. All of a sudden, it's just loosened up in the middle. Some turnovers, some great chances, and some end-to-end action.
They've taken the caution flag down here in Montreal.
Well, just continuous play, chances at each end, a drop back, Blake to the side. Just a blocker save there by Dobush.
Lately, business has become more, let's say, challenging. So what do now? We roll up our sleeves, we build it ourselves. We do it here and better with BDC. I'm talking microchips and drones and quantum technologies. I have no idea what a quantum is, but I know we are crushing it. So entrepreneurs, this is your moment. BDC is helping you lead the way to make a stronger Canada, from aluminum to AI and beyond.
Winner, Gagnon.
This is beautiful.
Your Play with OLG supports the training of thousands of coaches and refs across Ontario. And that's a win we're celebrating too. That's our beautiful game.
Winner, Gagnon.
As Canada stares down economic uncertainty, we're ready with a plan to protect Ontario. We're fighting to defend every job, building new nuclear facilities, speeding up approvals to build mines, diversifying our trade, bringing opportunity, good jobs, and growth home. Because this province doesn't just sit back, we build. That's how we protect Ontario.
Lane Hudson Hudson continues to further entrench himself in the conversation among best defensemen in the game these playoffs. It has been life in the fast lane for the 22-year-old. He didn't love the hit Taylor Hall threw at him in Game 2. A few of his teammates were legitimately concerned when he first signed out of college and saw how small he was, but they marvel at how every series teams try to go at him physically. None of it seems to work. Martinook gets a good look on him before the penalty. No one has skated further in these playoffs than Hudson. He skates the length of the ice to convert on the power play and tie this up at 2, Chris.
And Kyle, nobody's taken more hits. 58 so far in the playoffs. But Lane Hudson continues to be a terrific story. First in 14. He did go one stretch in the regular season without a goal in 14, so he avoids his longest drought with a game-tying goal here in the second period of Game 3. Back to Nikishin. He sends that on goal. Robinson looks for a rebound to to the line, but not out. Nikishin sends it back in. There's Eric Robinson in behind for Jankowski. Handing it off for Gostisbehere. Floats that wide of the cage. Anderson trying to get there. Nikishin stepping up again as Carolina tries to bottle up Montreal here in this long change second period. Pocket picked. Martinook there. Jordan Martinook cycles it for Ehlers. Stalls come on. Trying to get out in front. Ehlers. And that takes a bite out of Dobish, and he's been stung. Canadians trying to get it out with their goaltender in a little bit of discomfort as he shakes off the right shoulder. There's Texier in. That is blocked by Walker. Texier, Canadians changing. Heavy traffic there as Evans plays it back in deep. Texier behind the net. Can't sidestep the hit from Walker. Demidov tying up Stahl. Ivan Demidov looking to work it loose. And now Texier heads off. Could be a break here for Carolina. Walker over the line. Stops it up. Hurricanes wanted to change too. Svechnikov's come on. Aho ran into the referee, and out comes Montreal. Led by Hudson again. Cuts to the inside. Sends it across. Rink wide for Evans, and it jumped his stick. Demidov knocked it down behind the net neatly. Trying to get it to the point, but that's intercepted by Aho. Rink wide Svechnikov, and that's hit with a stick by Struble to put the play. Well, they're going to call a high stick on Struble.
Well, you mentioned a little uncomfortable there for Dobish. Watch how he makes himself a little bit taller, gets it right on the shoulder blade there on the cap. Gives it a little bit of a rub, but another good save.
Introducing Subway's Wannabe Spicy Menu. From mild Piri Piri Ranch Chicken to wild Hot Honey Chicken to wicked Nashville-style deli. All on new Ghost Pepper Bread with fiery flavors like new Hot Honey Sauce. How spicy do you want to be?
The claims period for 2 classes in the First Nations Child and Family Services and Jordan's Principal Settlement is open.
First Nations children who were removed from their homes on reserve between April 1st, 1991 and March 31st, 2022, and their caregiving parents and caregiving grandparents can submit a claim for compensation.
There are free supports to help you fill out your form.
And mental health and wellness supports if you need them.
Learn more and submit your claim at fnchildclaims.ca.
This is Body Armor. Real hydration with electrolytes, no colors from artificial sources, and coconut water. Choose Body Armor.
Now's a great time to set goals to reach your financial success.
Maybe you want to make a few updates to your home.
Or anything else you've been dreaming of accomplishing. How would you use $80, $280, or even $2.8 million?
Call us today. CapitalDirect.ca.
Cars are cool. Rental cars are not cool. It's cool when you can pick the exact car you want, exactly where you want, for exactly what you need. No one needs this. Turo. Rent a car, not a rental car.
Well, this was during the commercial break. It is not often we see Jakub Dobiš go to the bench during the TV timeout. Always likes his routine by his net, but after the shot he took right here from Nick Ehlers on the short side, you could tell, as Chris pointed out, he was smarting a bit afterwards and just went to talk things over with the training staff. He remains in the net, continues to gut it out. He has been perfect in these playoffs, coming off a loss. Chris?
Kind of unusual. He looks well padded in that area, but sometimes they can find a soft spot. Dobiš, by the way, the assist on the game-tying goal, first by Montreal goalie in 22 years. Jose Theodore had a pair in a game against Boston back in 2004. Here's Suzuki and Slafkovsky. Caulfield trying to get available in front. It slides to Blake. Back across and out at center where Matheson knocks his man down. Chance for Jackson Blake in. And Dobiš out to make that stop. Look how far from the net. And the Canadians react to a late jab to the pads.
Get game-changing internet and Canada's most reliable internet. Rogers Xfinity. We got you.
Well, this is a judgment read here for Dobiš, and how aggressive can you be? You see Paul falls, there's a rolling puck, but he anticipates. Look at how far he slid out, but he's in a really good spot to keep that short side, as Blake thought he might have had enough speed, that calmness in his play again. You know, the one thing, it's the combination of being aggressive but not being out of control. And I think that when he has been on, he has shown that he's been able to balance those two so effectively.
7:31 left, second period. The shots in the middle frame, 5-4 Carolina. And out of the corner, Svechnikov dumped, draws a penalty, still loose, Miller cross, blocked by Carrier. May have saved a goal, but now Montreal will be shorthanded.
Oh, it's Caden Gooley just lost his man. We talk about this man-on-man coverage, and a quick little look by the coaching staff, see what happened. Well, when you get beat out of the corner like this, good box out in front by Carrier, but Gooley gets underneath, gets the penalty, and how about that? Carrier on the other side. Dobiš did a nice job of adjusting as Svechnikov couldn't get it around, but kept the puck in play going back. One block right there by Carrier as Dobiš in desperation tries to get there, and there's a little look from Svechnikov. It hasn't been a very productive playoff for him. Just one goal in the 10 games so far, and he was awfully close there.
Canadians up to 18 block shots here in game 3. And a nicely worked to Jarvis, another block by Newhook off the post. And now Matheson's got it, whips it around, and then ricochets past Jarvis down the ice. Boy, they had a set play drawn right up for that, and Carolina comes close early in this second power play. They had 4 shots in their first. Loose puck to the line, and that one stubbed there, and Danault able to come away with Anderson. Here's Danault slaloming around and back out. Good play, keep away, and Matheson sends it in. That got past Anderson, and Danault after it once again. Gostisbehere gets control. Jarvis, Svechnikov, Ehlers, part of this top unit with Aho. And it's Aho, a deflection. Stopped by Dobiš. Back to Gostisbehere, by him and out. That allows Anderson to get to the bench, and Newhook comes on, so one penalty kill change. Gostisbehere's pass hit a skate. Matheson up with it, and he'll get it down. And now more changing of this penalty kill as out comes Evans and Carrier. Almost stolen by Evans. Here comes Ehlers over the line. Pass for Hall off the stick of Carrier in front. And that's a huge block by Jake Evans on what looked like a scoring chance. And play called as it was underneath Evans long enough to get a whistle.
Boy, just anything that it takes to get in the shooting lane there. Evans, just a beauty of a chance. the best chance, maybe as you mentioned, Chris, off that first face-off where Carolina able to get a bouncing puck, a little chip pass to the outside. Shot gets blocked, but the extra chance there on the doorstep. Gostisbehere can't get it. Watch the quick reaction. Evans reads that play. Man, that's a kick save and a beauty. Watch him kick out the left. Hits it right on the toe there. Dobish expecting to try to absorb that. Never got to him because of 71.
Carolina's had an edge in face-offs, and no changes that with a face-off victory that gets the puck out to center ice. Late stages of this power play for Carolina. Miller bounces it back in. Matheson there to control. And a turn away from Ehlers on the ice, but the puck got stuck in his skates, and now dug out by Matheson. And here's Evans with Gooley back on the ice. Flipped away. Deneau in pursuit of the puck. The lead feed, and Stahl was loose at the Canadiens line. 2 shots on that unsuccessful second power play. Hudson was upended by Stahl, and you hear the reaction. Noah Dobson, too far for Hudson. Chatfield, Carrier offside at the Montreal line. So under 5 to go here in the second period. The game tied on a goal by Blaine Hudson.
I got dreams in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. I got dreams in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't. I got dreams in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. But the heart still rattles, the heart still rattles. Oh.
We need to talk about soda because Poppy's changed it for the better forever. It's a mouth-watering, bold, refreshing soda that still gives you that iconic fizzy flavor you can't resist. With 5 grams of sugar per can and ingredients you love. Have your soda and drink it too. Poppy, soda's back.
GMC drivers know that not every job site has concrete. The GMC Sierra Pro Graphite delivers power and authority to find footing just about anywhere. The GMC 0% event is here. Get 0% financing on select 2026 models and limited terms. Visit your nearest dealership today. GMC, we are professional grade.
When I think about those nights in Montreal, I get the sweetest thoughts of you and me. Memories of love.
Montreal's own Gino Vanelli, and I just want to stop. Could it be another one of those nights in Montreal? Hasn't been much stopping done in this second period as the game has opened up here again in this series, Chris.
Fans hoping for a little Leonard Cohen hallelujah before this is over.
Exactly. A classic.
So under 5 to go here in the second period. The shot 7-4 in the middle frame in favor of Carolina. And an icing call against Montreal. Catch the National with Chief Correspondent Adrian Arsenault tonight following the game everywhere you get CBC News.
Well, if you're Marty St. Louis, though, you got to be happy with your special teams in this period. You're down by 1 on home ice. You get kind of the gift penalty, and, man, you take advantage of it. A beautiful power play goal, and then a really important penalty kill just finished there. Chris, that was a 2-minute-plus shift by Mike Matheson on that penalty kill, and he made about 4 or 5 great defensive plays to avoid any chance of Carolina taking the lead again.
Leno cut off, unable to get it out, and now played just outside the line, drifted back in by Walker. And going to call a delayed offside.
You know, these are the moments in the game you try to stack up some games. As St. Louis talking about, we need to stack pockets of good hockey. And, you know, that is the hallmark of second periods, too. Why you can get a team in trouble. You put 3 or 4 shifts together. Typically, you can hem a line in there without making a change. And, you know, I think the big thing he said, too, Chris, was when we're not playing well, we got to do a job of just surviving. Like when those shifts aren't getting stacked together and we're getting take advantage of it, we've done a pretty good job of surviving that until we can try to turn it around again.
There's Chatfield that hits Suzuki. Good example of that. Outshot in game 2, and yet the slot chances were 9-7s, relatively even. Here's Slafkovsky, and he tried to go short side. That bounces off Dobson, who moved in. Chatfield after the puck against Suzuki. Around for Aho and out to center. Deflected back in where Anderson's out to play it. Chatfield wrapped it around. Suzuki knocked that down, and a toe stop there by Anderson. On Slafkovsky. Oh, that's a redirected, and Anderson had to be terrific on that. Redirect in the slot.
Well, there's a stack shift there that you try to follow up. Couple of great plays by Suzuki. Great read on the turnover. And that last one sounded like it hit post, didn't it?
Now Anderson flying in there. The Canadians finally get into double digits in shots on goal. As they scrum along the boards, it comes loose for Struble. Got a little room here, but Martinick takes it back away, and it's flipped out. Gostis Bear drives the lane. Ehlers takes a look, gets it back. Big stop. Dobush able to just kick out the right pad. So both goaltenders front and center in the last 30 seconds or so. Now Hudson. That gets past an O and played back inside the Montreal line. Struble back to get it with Hudson. Struble one-handing it ahead, and now regrouped out for Deneau, redlining in. Anderson plays that ahead. Jackson Blake, quick counter here by Carolina. Hall hit, but gets it to Stankoven. Look for the late man, but that was off a Canadian stick. Matheson now able to get control, and Montreal will steer it back in as Deneau heads to the bench. 2 minutes left, second period. Here's Walker weaving his way in, trying to get to the net. In to Dobush, and a penalty is upcoming as Dobush gets run. And are they going to take Evans too? Looks like one aside here.
I don't think there's any question. It's just Walker took that puck with the intention of just whatever happens, I'm taking it to the net. They had no chance at all to make a start. How about the action back and forth, though? Anderson gets pressured at one end. Great play by Suzuki, a pass across, and this, a deflection by Caulfield off the pad, off the post, and there for the taking. Just so close in front. Caulfield
number 26
gets off the toe and back. The crowd talking about the penalties coming up. Here's Gostis Fair in alone. Great save again. Dobush sliding to his left, able to keep. And you can tell Walker was going to the net no matter what. Didn't try to let up. That's a penalty for sure. The crowd's reactions, it looks like we got 4-on-4 hockey. So the response, as you would expect from Evans, didn't get a similar roughing from anyone. So the end result is 4-on-4, and the crowd, home crowd, is letting the officials hear about it.
The roughing Evans after the goaltender interference.
Well, they're not of equal, right? You got to protect your goaltender more than that. And typically when you find those kind of scenarios, often there's a little skirmish afterwards and you get an extra 2. And Montreal felt they should be on the power play. And you could see that Walker was just having no hesitation, didn't try to slow up, and went right into the chest of Dobush. He's been able to help it, showing a lighter side, saying, here, you can have that, try again. Dobush has had some great personality moments through these playoffs, hasn't he?
So 4 skaters aside in the late stages of this middle frame. Handed off to Slavin. Gives it back to Jarvis. Tracked there by Matheson. Got away, getting to the net. And Dobish closes that down. Centering pass. And another stop. And now it's a 2-on-1. Out the other way. Suzuki and Caulfield. Suzuki, and he trying to go between his legs, but in too deep to find Caulfield. Thought he might go all the way to the net himself, as it looked like they overplayed Caulfield.
And Caulfield tried to stay wide at first to stay onside, and then maybe just got it drifted a little further than Suzuki was thinking. Couldn't get a passing lane, and wow, just a great chance forwarded there.
Down to the final minute. Hey, Andre Miller's in. Here's Miller across, and Blake's shot disrupted by Hudson. Blake checked, and now Noah Dobson takes off.
I think Hudson just got a stick to the face, too. Not sure if it was his teammate.
And is Davidov in front. Dobson can't redirect that now. They have to get back as Gostisbehere leads the counterpunch for Ehlers on his backhand, swooping in. He'll leave it for Miller, dropping it off. Jackson Blake for Gostisbehere. Unable to control that. Ducking away from Newhook, but Newhook comes back to steal the puck. Look at that play there by Davidov. Ducked under a check and gets to the red line. Fires it rink wide. Hudson in, late stages. Can Montreal generate a buzzer-beating chance? Newhook, Matheson. Here's Matheson coming out, and he bobbled the puck at the last second. And the siren goes to end the second period.
Oh, what a period of hockey, and it just such a tight game. You know the importance of the next goal. Chances at one end, and how about Dobish here sliding across again, closing the 5-hole, not once but twice, then back the other way, 2-on-1. Look at how far to the outside Caulfield ends up. Chatfield goes down, and just a little bit of a miscommunication there. Davidov slides it across, and oh, Dobson had an opportunity if he could get that bottom hand down, get it up. Anderson sliding across, no shot taken.
Through 2, tied at 2. Shots 25-11 through 40 minutes here, and Lane Hudson's power play goal from Caulfield and Dobish gets Montreal even. Ron and the gang, along with David and Elliott, coming up in our second intermission.
The quest continues.
B-Dogs, B-Dogs!
Go behind the scenes with the Buffalo Sabres as they go toe-to-toe with the Montreal Canadiens in an epic 7-game series.
Let's go,
Quest for the Stanley Cup, only on NHL YouTube.
This game is brought to you by Rogers. Hold on to the dream. Rogers, this is our game.
Get your favorite Domino's pizza for only $1. For real, when you buy any pizza, you get a second pizza for only $1. But order today. A deal this delicious won't last long. Only at Domino's.
Oh, wouldn't mind a new barbecue like Dale's.
Me neither. And Emma's got eyes on that new bike.
Oh, you mean this bike? Looking good.
When you have a puck.
No, this way, this way.
Hey, how are you?
Living the dream. Let's go.
The Evergreens family vacation started with Expedia. Dad knew his crew needed peace and quiet, so he booked a vacation home big enough for everyone. Great, right? Nice job, Dad. Expedia, the one place you go to go places.
Tomorrow, your star forward is not 100%. Your star defenseman is not 100%. Just keeps looking grimmer and grimmer.
Hockey Central sets you up for a Wild West shocker. The Avalanche have the momentum early, but in Vegas, the house always wins. The Golden Knights are one win away from the Stanley Cup Final. It's win or go home for the President's Trophy winners. Can they save their season?
They need a hero here quickly.
You just have to watch the Stanley Cup Playoffs on Sportsnet.
I got dreams in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. I got dreams in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't. I got dreams in my head.
The Ford, it's a event? Ah, the Ford, it's a big deal event. Right now, lease this F-150 for $237 bi-weekly. That's like $119 a week.
Introducing the steak and cheese melt at Firehouse Subs. Stacked with new tender, flame-seared prime rib, melted provolone, caramelized onions and peppers, top sliced, toasted twice and extra melted. Because firefighters do things the right way. Only at Firehouse Subs.
Here was the scene when Lane Hutson scored. He ties Chris Chelios' fewest playoff games to 20 career points. 22 games for Chris, and now for Lane, it's 2-2. What a hockey game. Luke Gazdic, first on the tying goal.
So you didn't like the offside last period, correct?
No.
I don't think
Slafkovsky.
Marty did either, and I'm sure that was a message in between the first and second. It's such a simple execution adjustment. Tell your guys, just stay on side. It's such an easy thing to do, just the awareness. Which brings us back to the first period and the power play that needed to be much better. So this is their full ice breakout. Basically, Hudson through the middle, and you have to time your route perfectly. He's just a little too fast there, puts himself offside, forces them to drop back to Suzuki. He's actually a little too fast on this again, but Caulfield makes a really cheeky play on the blue line. Here is the key. Keep yourself onside. It is just the subtlest of stops, the subtlest of adjustments for him to stay onside. Gets them that goal there on the power play, second time's a charm. That's some great awareness, great adjustment.
Yeah, you know what? That's been a brick wall for Carolina all playoffs, is getting through that blue line and maybe little baiting with the drop back, and then they punch it through. Great execution, though. You have to execute against this team. They make it really difficult. Great execution by Habs.
Seeing as you asked, didn't think Demidov was offside in the second period either, and didn't like the even up on Evans, and didn't like the Martinook penalty. But that's it. Other than that, whatever the refs are doing, it's a great hockey game.
Well, besides that, you've just got to keep working, and it is a great hockey game. And one of the reasons it's a tie game, you think about playoff hockey. It takes hard work, it takes sacrifice. And in this game, it has been blocked shots. This was Deneau in the first, Deneau again in the second to make sure that you get in the lanes. And as Dobish is striving to get across, Carrier's there to make the dramatic save. This time it's Newhook. Then you see Evans. And I mean, this is the one. He stays in his form afterwards just to make sure, yes, that was a sweet save. But 22 blocks. I mean, that's the most this playoffs through 2 periods. 60 shot attempts by the Hurricanes. They force you to defend, but Montreal has done a great job of sacrificing their bodies to get into those lanes.
That was probably a likely goal, right? Wide open net, toe save, kick save and a beauty from Simmer as he says that. But Dobish, off the start of the game, guys, it has to be Dobish. You look at 6-0 coming off a loss. 9 goals above expected stopped by him in those 6 games. So he's dialed, and man, has he been good here tonight. He takes a shot here off the shoulder. This left a mark on him, and he collapses. He doesn't often go to the bench. That one sent him to the bench as he was trying to shake that off. Aggressive and patient, and man, he's got those legs, doesn't he? They just kick out. He can just make saves, and he's just been an ultimate difference maker here for Montreal, keeping him in the game. 25 unofficial shots on net for him. How many shot attempts through the roof, as we know Carolina likes to do. Even takes a little hit. And guys, not only is he doing all this, he's got an assist as well on that power play goal for Montreal.
And an assist as well. Pass.
He's working the hockey gods a little bit, a little good karma, nice deeds, brings good favor. Dobish is a star.
Saves above expected, Armuletics.
Yeah.
That's right. Look
Every once in a while, I go under the hood.
Time to bring in David Amber and Elliot Friedman. DA.
All right, well, we all know Lane Hutson, listed as the smallest player in the NHL, 162 pounds. He's amazing, though, right? You talk to his teammates, and they say he's the fiercest competitor on the team. We're seeing that night in, night out.
Just a great player, and nobody has been hit more in the playoffs than Lane Hutson because he's a target. He always has the puck, and teams know they got to do something about it. Now, he was not happy about this. He said this morning that he felt Taylor Hall could have led with the shoulder instead of the knee. He was sore. Everyone saw it. He was not thrilled about it. Tonight he takes a hit from Martinook, and then moments later that leads to the penalty. And Luke and Colby and Jennifer, you guys just showed the goal. But when you're not a jack monster like David Amber, this is the way you get revenge. You score. Can't fight. He's not a pugilist. He scores. That's going to be a sweet goal, considering A, the point in the game, and 2, how upset he was about the hit he took last one.
And we saw another big hit courtesy of Sean Walker on Dobish, and we've seen this before, Elliot.
Actually, I was surprised this wasn't a Montreal power play on some level. Like, I just think the goalies have to be protected, and we've seen this a little too often with Dobich in the playoffs. There's the one tonight where both he and Evans go off, and it's a 4-on-4. But in the last series, there were two. There was Beck-Malenstein. That was a big controversial one. And then there was Zucker in Game 7. Now, there were some people who felt there was a bit of embellishment there. Like, I'm a person who believes, Dave, the goalies have to be protected on all costs, but there's no question that Dobich's success, teams are trying to get under his skin by running him a bit.
It seems to lock him in, though. Malenstein was Game 3 here in Montreal. Montreal won that game. Game 7, Zucker, Montreal won that game. So he's not getting rattled, despite the fact we sometimes forget that Jakub Dobich is still a rookie, Elliot.
100%, and this building, it's hard to convey how energized it was in that second period. Consistently from minute 1 to 20, I think that's the loudest period we've seen here so far.
Great finish coming our way, Ron.
You know, gents, we've talked a lot about Brind'Amour versus St. Louis matching wits. Here's some of the high-profile, some Hall of Famers who've coached against one another in the playoffs. The first two, Blake and Abel, were Hall of Fame players. Al Arbour won 3 cups against Hall of Famer. Larry Robinson, Hall of Famer, against the great Pat Quinn. Patrick Roy, of course, Hall of Famer. Rod Brind'Amour should be a Hall of Famer. He coached against Tocchet in the last round, and now Marty St. Louis. There's no question Emerson was right when he said a man's face is his biography. Our coverage continues.
This intermission is brought to you by Rogers. Hold on to the dream. Rogers, this is our game.
Buck Martinez here with the Buck & Inch deal by Pizza Pizza. Get a 12-inch medium two-topper for $12, 14-inch, $14, a huge 18-inch, $18. Buck & Inch, only at Pizza Pizza.
You forget the rest when you bring out the best.
Only the ServiceNow AI platform makes all your tech work together. Any system, any workflow.
Any AI?
Yeah.
Any cloud?
Yes.
Any data source? The man said anything.
Any whipped cream? Yeah. Yeah. Don't be shy. A little more.
It takes passion and dedication to meet Cavendish Farms' high standards for late-night snacks, the ultimate breakfast, and delicious dinners. Canadians can count on Cavendish Farms for top quality every time.
The NHL app is your place to get every highlight from every series, behind-the-scenes playoffs content, and the most NHL Edge Advanced stats. The Stanley Cup playoffs are better on the NHL app.
Hope, faith, belief.
Okay, stay cool. Conference finals crunch time. Don't look at that clock.
It took so long to get here. Why is my hand shaking?
Hey, you good? Totally, except I'm totally not good. It's not just intensity. It's insanity. Lord Stanley, if you're listening, we don't want the cup. We need to bring it home.
Scores! You cannot script this stuff, and that is the beauty of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
When you have a puck.
No, this way, this way.
Hey, how are you?
Living the dream.
Let's go.
Burger King Canada invited fans and skeptics to try their elevated Whopper, new fries, new nuggets, and new onion rings.
Not what I remember. This is actually really good, man.
Told you.
It's so good.
Burger King over everything.
When you've been in Canada for 240 years, you get around. Because it doesn't matter what it's in. It matters where it's from. Molson, everyone in.
Introducing Subway's Wannabe Spicy Menu. From mild Piri Piri Ranch Chicken to wild Hot Honey Chicken to wicked Nashville-style deli. All on new Ghost Pepper Bread with fiery flavors like new Hot Honey Sauce. How spicy do you want to be?
Welcome back to the Stanley Cup Playoffs on Sportsnet, presented by Instacart. Groceries, just how you like. Tomorrow evening, 8:30 Eastern, the incredible journey of Mitchell Marner and the Vegas Golden Knights. Crazy. We'll have the pregame show on Sportsnet, then CBC and Sportsnet for the show. We're coming up to the third period here. Series tied 1-1, the game tied 2-2. Either the table will turn or the table. Rollay, rollay, rollay.
I got dreams in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. I got dreams in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't. I got dreams in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. But the heart still rattles, the heart still rattles, oh.
We are a housing, energy, and defense company. Every day, we deliver the essentials that life depends on. Because possibility doesn't happen by chance. It's built. It's powered. It's protected. So when the next generation asks what we stand for, we can say we gave them something to stand on and the freedom to imagine more. ATCO, possibilities for generations.
What would you like to taste today?
Every coffee, a new world. Every sip, a new taste. Keep exploring with new Virtual Up Nespresso. What else?
When it all comes together, it could mean you're ready to talk to your doctor about Wegovy. Ask for Wegovy by name. Visit wegovy.ca for savings.
A safer Ontario means playgrounds with no drug injection sites nearby. It means fewer cars being stolen thanks to more police officers and prosecutors. New jails so criminals stay behind bars. Public spaces without encampments. And bail reform that protects our neighborhoods. We're making every corner of Ontario safer to make all of Ontario safer. That's how we protect Ontario.
All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the National Hockey League is expressly prohibited.
Tim's Taste of the Globe. Here's lime cheesecake Timbit. Oh, chocolate creme brulee Timbit with a decadent takeaway. And fireworks Timbit scores! Popping off in celebration! It's game on at Tim's with new Timbits in ice cap flavors from around the globe.
Introducing Subway's Wannabe Spicy Menu. From mild Piri Piri Ranch Chicken to wild Hot Honey Chicken to wicked Nashville-style deli. All on new Ghost Pepper Bread with fiery flavors like new Hot Honey Sauce. How spicy do you want to be?
When you've been in Canada for 240 years, you get around. Because it doesn't matter what it's in. It matters where it's from. Molson, everyone in.
The competition heats up in Morocco in the Diamond League. Top-level track and field athletes will compete Sunday on CBC and CBC Gem. Delivery of the game presented by Instacart. Get groceries delivered in as fast as 60 minutes. Well, with how much animosity is bred in the playoffs, it's a good reminder that sportsmanship still exists. Last round versus the Sabres, Mike Matheson battling with Zach Benson, realized vulnerable with skates in the area, and he protected his head. Remember, back in the playoffs in 2021 in the second round in Winnipeg, Jake Evans took that ugly blindside hit from Mark Scheifele. The melee that ensued in response, it was Nick Ehlers, then with the Jets, that made sure no one fell on top of Evans. He doesn't like to relive that moment, understandably, but he never forgot what Ehlers did back then. And then tonight, after Jakub Dobeš is run over by Sean Walker in his own crease, politely handing his helmet back to Keandre Miller. So decency can still be found during the most ruthless time of year, Chris.
That's going to be ruthless here the third.
Anything for good karma, isn't it? Just the competitiveness that you expect from a game like this. The third game is always such an incredibly important one, especially, you know, the difference between going down 2-1 in the series and going up 2-1 is just so dramatic that the intensity should be here for the third. It's been a tightly fought game, and Chris, the third in this series, at least 3 goals for the Montreal Canadiens and none so far in the first 2 games for Carolina.
Just thinking back to the first round when John Cooper was asked, is game 4 the most important? He said, for me, it's the odd number games, 1, 3, 5, and if necessary, 7. Well, how does game 3 turn out? Period number 3 underway, and in a few seconds, Evans and Walker will return, and the teams are back at full strength. Evans out of the box to drop it down into the Carolina zone. Around it comes for Ehlers. The game's 2 hero up ahead to Martin. That went off his glove, so hand pass halts play.
Get game-changing internet and Canada's most reliable internet. Rogers Xfinity. We got you.
You know, interesting about this game, Rob Brindamore said we basically threw the first game in the trash. You know, we had a better game too, so okay, we come in here with a split, we got a best of 5. This is the most important game in his mind anyways. You can establish that home ice back if you're the Hurricanes here and win game 3 on the road. Don't leave it for chance by losing this one and having to win that next one.
And again, Montreal 2-4 at home, trying to reward these fans in this unbelievable environment. It's sent in by Suzuki. Around it goes Slavkovsky trying to come up with that. And the puck slides back into the Canadian zone. It's Aho.
That was a big high flare that nobody saw it. The only one who did was Aho coming back.
Dobson trying to get away from Blake. He lost it. Here's a chance, and that was blocked there by a sprawling Nick Suzuki. Jen mentioning the 22 block shots. They had 29 in game number 1. Here's Taylor Hall. Caulfield there. Now Suzuki starts out. 29, the most for the Canadiens in the postseason so far. It feels like they're going to eclipse that tonight.
And what you see, it's everybody. It's not just the defensemen. You know, in the old days, the D were the only one who were blocking shots. Jen showed Deneau with a big one. That one was Suzuki making the read.
Yeah, Phil Deneau has 4 in the game. There's Martinook. His pass picked off by Anderson. Trying to get away, but can't. Checking tight to start the third. Anderson and all tied up with Carrier. Texier will roll it in. Here's Caden Gooley. He has 4 block shots in the game. Up for Anderson. That knocked down. And it comes back into the zone as Deneau swung at it. Here's Gottsespierre. Nick Ehlers on the move. Around far side, Jankowski. Alexander Carrier. Back for Veleno. Up ahead, Bolduc. And Gooley. And he put that just wide. Around it goes. And Stoll starts back. Here's Stahl with Martinic trying to catch up. Dobish to the boards, and Montreal will flip it out off the stick of Bolduc. He's changing him for a moment. Just 4 skaters. Want to make sure they didn't have too many. Miller around. It's stopped there by Dobson momentarily, but now sent ahead. Healers has been out a while. Can't catch up to that. Sent back into Carolina ice, and it is an icing against the Canadians.
Well, a little game within the game. The things around the net that happen, as you can see, Blake, is this an accidentally on purpose? No, you saw the penalty that was called earlier on Martinic. Not much difference. Then at the other end, a push by Bolduc in on Chatfield absolutely knocks Anderson all around. So, as expected, Chris, in a tight game like this, tight quarters around the front of the net, that battle for real estate in there is just at such a frenetic level.
The Hurricanes have had an edge in face-off, 58%, and they win another by Aho. I think this is as much as the Canadians have been dominating the face-off circle in these playoffs. Svechnikov dragged down. Here's Jarvis down low, and Aho on the move, hands it off. Sean Walker swings wide. Bolduc staying with him. Walker to the corner, leaves it for Aho. Tracked there by Evans. Right to the line and across for Svechnikov. Knocked off his stick by Dobson, and it does come out. Aho hooks it back, and that pass broken up by Demidov. He lost it, but Evans backed him up.
And again, one-on-one coverage in the D zone. The Canadians very effective there. No collisions between the crisscrossing, good communication, staying patient on their reads, and they've been able to sustain pressure without a lot of good chances.
Caulfield deflects it in. Struble ventures deep, kicks it back towards Caulfield. Now onto the stick of Logan Stankoven. Goals in the first 5 games of the postseason for Stankoven. Rolled in, he'll chase after it against Struble. Takes Struble to the boards, and Blake up with the puck. Blake trying to come out in front and couldn't get into a shooting position. Up the boards for Slafkovsky, and Chatfield gets caught. 3-on-2. It's Suzuki with Hudson wide for Caulfield. Here's Hudson, side of the net. And Chatfield now hands it off back the other way. Taylor Hall as the 3-on-2 kind of came apart on them. Caden Gooley. Hudson off the boards ahead. It gets past Anderson and deep. Past 5 minutes of the third, Nikishin leaves it behind the net. Gostisbehere at the wheel. On to the left side, Ehlers fired that and missed the target. Back towards Ehlers, unable to get a stick on that. One-handed by Deneau. Aiden Gooley flips it away to center. A bouncing puck, Anderson almost came up with that. Martinic bumped there by Carrier. Gooley off the boards, and again it's Anderson with the 2 goals in game 2. Deneau from the corner. Check. Texier tried to get it back. Now flipped ahead, but they can't spring Robinson. Matheson's lead feed doesn't get through. He was trying to hit Boleno at the line. And now sent the length of the ice. That's icing Carolina.
Well, these types of games that are so critical, the next mistake, can you capitalize on it? It's the plays along the boards that make a difference. Watch Slafkovsky here. Suzuki, a little dish. He's getting pressured by Chatfield. Great communication. Just accepts the pressure by Chatfield, a little backhand to Suzuki, and bang, back the other way you're going. Especially if the D are going to be that aggressive, Chris. If you can make some plays under pressure on the wall, you got an opportunity to transition to offense the other way.
Canadians have just won 1 of 8 offensive zone faceoffs tonight. Another controlled by Carolina. That one looked like it hit somebody at the Canes bench. Play stopped. And we will step aside. 6:19 into this third period. Just 1 shot so far who breaks the 2-2 tie.
Tim's Taste of the Globe. Here's lime cheesecake Timbit. Oh, chocolate creme brulee Timbit with a decadent takeaway. And fireworks Timbit scores! Pop it off in celebration! It's game on at Tim's with new Timbits in ice cap flavors from around the globe.
Quitting smoking is hard. Zonic can help by curbing nicotine cravings fast with an easy-to-use nicotine pouch. Find Zonic in pharmacies near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is highly addictive, only to be used by adults who are trying to quit smoking.
Please welcome friend of the pod, Ty.
Please tell me you did not start a podcast.
People got to hear my takes.
No, people got to go with the score.
Oh, D-Pair's tired. Shots are really piling up.
My gut says overtime, folks.
What? No. New York's got this. Lock it in.
Bet placed.
Yeah! We called it! Oh, let's check in with the chat. Mom! You can't say that.
Whether on the go or on the job, the legendary Toyota Tundra will leave you Tundra-struck. Get yours now during Red Tag Days.
Now's a great time to set goals to reach your financial success. Maybe you want to make a few updates to your home or anything else you've been dreaming of accomplishing. How would you use $80, $280, or even $2.8 million? Call us today.
CapitalDirect.ca.
2 Hurricane leads tonight. Twice the Canadians have answered. Here we are in the third period after the Grand Prix. It feels like the caution flag back up here to start the third.
Yeah, it's the game within the game, right? You get moments where it gets wide open and you see chances at both ends, but it's been so calculated. You can't help but look at these moments and say, okay, there's your top goal scorer, 51 during the regular season. He made a great play to tie it on the goal by Hudson. It has been a quiet conference final for Sebastian Aho, and Chris, that's been the MO of Carolina. Can't score in the conference final. They haven't been able to get their offense going. They need their top player to get going in this one.
Bench tried to call a hooking penalty there in front of the Carolina bench. None forthcoming. And out comes Foligno. He's got Carrier jumping one-on-one. Carrier looking for some help. Hands it off. Demidov swooping in. Feeds back. Gooley will tap that. Along the boards, Demidov can't control it. And now flip back to the Montreal line. Gooley for Evans. Gets it back and works it in. Demidov chasing after it against Slavin. Sent past Aho and out. Again, Sebastian Aho playing in his 100th Stanley Cup playoff game tonight. It's the 100th behind the bench for Rod Brindamore. And the 100th for Jordan Stahl as a member of the Canes. Fans trying to pick up the home side here in the third. Nick Suzuki through. Slavkovsky after that. They're going to call it icing on a close play to the threshold there.
Love the NHL? Bet99 Sportsbook and Casino brings every shot, goal, and storyline to life. Experience it your way. Download the Bet99 app.
Chris, you mentioned all the playoff experience. You know, this is the youngest team in Montreal and left in the playoffs, second youngest coming in. And, you know, Carolina's got 7 players with 80-plus playoff games. Montreal has none. Gallagher has 79, and he's not in the lineup here.
Another Hurricane face-off win. Stahl tracked by Suzuki, trying to use his size to advantage against Suzuki. Hands it off to Wheelers. Across for Chatfield. Working in. Another shot blocked up by Slavkovsky. Trying to send away Caulfield. Bounced on him, but they're in with Suzuki. Back towards Caulfield. Chatfield in the vicinity. Suzuki gets it to Caulfield again. Slavkovsky to the front. Off Slavkovsky. And to the line. Kept in by Dobson. Nice play there. And Struble downhill in front. Trying to go backdoor to Caulfield. Noah Dobson looking for his first Stanley Cup playoff goal. Here he comes. In front. Scores! first lead of the night for Montreal.
And in game number 42 of the playoffs for Noah Dobson, he does a great job a couple of times earlier, keeping this play alive at the line and then driving to the net, trying for the pass, for the tap in for Slafkovsky. How close is this one coming in? Oh boy, you can see Rod Brindamore having a quick look. Is he going to challenge this one for offside? I think he is. You saw, did he have control before his body? Here's the call.
Carolina is challenging to play for offside prior to the goal. The play will be under review.
We had that one quick look, and you know, it's all about possession if you get control of it enough before the entire puck goes through. But let's have, is that puck on his stick?
Well, if they consider this control, he's onside.
No, but the puck hasn't touched his stick yet. Look at the separation. I know it's a tough angle from behind.
Right.
There's the touch that you first see. But boy, you see it in live. It's no wonder for the officials how difficult it is. And what a pivotal moment this is for the Situation Room. Chris, there was not much of a hesitation, was there, from the Carolina bench?
You see, they're looking for another angle here. That
it would be nice to see the other side of the puck, right?
Yeah.
But
we're going to get that look
at
too.
It. Okay, so his blade is just barely touching there, but he's not touching the puck.
No.
If you go another second, then I think this is coming back. Wow, what a
by a fraction
momentum swing that is.
After Carolina's coach's challenge to play was determined to be offside, we have no goal. Please turn the clock.
Well, the game stays tied. And a successful challenge by Rod Brindamore.
Chris, how did we ever play the game in our years when you didn't have replays like that? You get the crowd going nuts. It's on home, but that is the right call by the rule. And credit the video group for the Carolina Hurricanes. They were on top of it. So Dobson, as I said, that would have been his first in his 42nd playoff game, and that look says it all. Man, you just get so pumped up, you think you gave your team the lead, and now you got to get back to work again. And this is a really important shift for Montreal.
Suddenly there's a face-off in the Canadian zone.
It's an offensive zone face-off. You got to gather yourself here and get back playing.
And off the draw goes to Slavin. Slavin shooting it wide with Blake trying to provide a screen in front. Battle behind the net. Canadians had control, but don't check. Stankoven back towards Hall. Taylor Hall up high. Goalie stays with him. Stick comes out of his hands. And now Blake back for Hall. Set, shoots. And Dobish has got that.
Boy, what a huge stoppage that is for Dobish. You know, that's a shot you probably shouldn't take. Gooley loses his stick in all the play in front of the net. Look, he's in no man's land. Instead of shooting that for Hall, take it, try to take advantage and force the opportunity to take advantage of one man without the stick. That's a shot without anybody in front. Kind of gives a free pass there for Dobish to make the save. That's a shot he'd probably want to have back.
So another face-off in the Canadian zone. Jankowski digging in here. And Evans wins that draw for the Canadians. Around it goes and outside the line. Back in for Evans. A lead feed, and it's Demidov with new hook. And he just missed. Stick side, went high. At the line it comes out. Struble, Demidov, and he'll play it deep once again. Approaching 9 minutes of the third. There's Struble tripped up and even it up here. Walker moves in and that goes high. Back at the line it comes across and Seth Jarvis. Along the boards, Aho. Here's Svechnikov trying to hand it off. He gives it back to himself. Along the boards, Demidov checked. Jarvis worked over. Puck to the side of the cage. Aho in front, Walker! And Dobish gets a piece of that. Another chance for a Hurricane defenseman. Now Hudson reels in a loose puck.
What a reaction by Dobish. He went for the stick check as he's done consistently all throughout the playoffs. Knew he was in trouble and reacted so quickly with the glove. Somehow able to get it up and make that save.
Hudson off the boards, out to Caulfield, and now it's dumped in by Matheson. Slavkovsky goes after it. He comes up with the puck. Juraj Slavkovsky cycles it for Caulfield, sending it across for Dobson. Dobson plays that on goal. And the rebound ricocheted past Stahl and Matheson. Well, does Dobson get another chance? Does Caulfield make up for the offside? And play called. We've got an interference penalty. And Stahl slow to get up.
Very slow, and the officials' arm movements were interference. We've seen a couple of those calls, and here an opportunity after the offside call. Oh yeah, going backwards there. Dobson goes right in on the numbers of Stahl. Power play coming up for Carolina.
There are plenty of reasons to go, and plenty of ways Jeep can get you there. Because this Jeep Compass delivers 200 horsepower, and the roads don't have to be paved when you have class-exclusive capability. Because premium comfort comes with you in the Jeep Grand Cherokee, and the right technology keeps you connected when you go off the map. Still need reasons? Here's two more. Get up to $7,500 in total incentives on the 2026 Jeep Compass, or 0% financing for 72 months on a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee.
When it's go time, and you're coming up short, order on Skip for your shot at winning one of 50 pairs of tickets to a Stanley Cup playoffs game. Only on Skip, official food delivery app of the NHL.
Only the ServiceNow AI platform makes all your tech work together. Any system, any workflow.
Any AI?
Yeah.
Any cloud?
Yes.
Any data source? The man said anything.
Any whipped cream? Yeah. Yeah. Don't be shy. A little more.
Prescribed Ozempic? What kind of asker are you? Ask for brand name Ozempic and show your Ozempic savings card to your pharmacist to get the brand you know. To get yours, simply go to ozempic.ca.
At a moment's notice, a playoff game can turn on its head. Noah Dobson has lived that just in the last few minutes here. Thought he had his first career playoff goal, a go-ahead goal for the Canadiens. That's taken back because of an offside. And then just before the break, called for interference and running into the back of Jordan Stahl. Now having to sit in the box, what he hopes for as a full 2 minutes, the most important penalty kill of the series coming here for Montreal, Chris.
Carolina 0 for 2 with the man advantage. Points the playoffs off.
Just the twists and turns are unfathomable at times. You can't believe what happened.
Off that draw, Canadians win it. And Newhook clears. Newhook and Evans start on the kill with Aho out on that E unit with Jarvis. Stahl, and a lead pass is played deep. Aho's going to get there first. But the Canadians win the battle, and along the boards, Newhook sends it in and heads to the bench on a cheese.
Well, those clears are so important. The most challenging thing has been getting a clear entry, getting your setup that allows Montreal to stay aggressive here at the line.
Ehlers works his way in, got it back after nearly handing it away. It's Gostisbehere who opened the scoring. Getting it back, moving in, and he missed the target. Kept in, good keep at the line by Ehlers. Aho gives it back to Nick Ehlers. And Gostisbehere, Svechnikov getting ready on the right flank, but it doesn't come his way. It's Gostisbehere with Aho parked on the back door. Sebastian Aho back around for Jarvis. Jarvis ducks one check. Gets it to Aho. Now it's Ehlers moving in, and that went wide, and it Comes outside the line and back into the Carolina zone.
For one shot you can't miss like that. Ehlers just over-aggressive there. Gostisbehere tried to drill one off Aho on the side of the net there, just barely missed.
Under a half minute remaining. Carolina back in. Good check by Matheson. He went sprawling. Around it comes to Jackson Blake. Here's Blake. Back to the other corner. Up top, Miller. Stopped by Dobish. It'll be fired across, picked off. And away goes Evans. He'll turn back and kill a little more time. Play keep away as Dobson gets set to return. Alex Newhook flipping it in. Noah Dobson back on the ice. Evans after it deep in the Carolina zone. 7.5 to go here in the third period. Canadians have not had a shot in over 15.5 minutes. Jackson Blake in. That doesn't get through to the net, and Suzuki's on it. Flipping it high, and now Slafkovsky. Jumping up, it's Carrier spun down. Kept in by Suzuki. He has his pocket picked. Stankoven came up with a puck and gets it back down the ice. That's a big defensive play by Stankoven. Slafkovsky with 7 minutes remaining here in the third. And an offside called at the Carolina line.
Well, not a lot of good chances for Carolina, but the one they did execute, look at Aho just trying to build a wall over there, and that's one Chatfield. I thought Aho should have gone a little bit forward and just put his shin pads, would have been a easy deflection in. Chatfield not really shooting that one to score, tried to hit either the stick or the body of number 20 there. That's back-to-back huge kills by the home team there as Montreal. You look at your teammate who's been such a good one in Dobson, and you say, okay, we're going to kill it for you. They did a good job of getting through it.
Up to 26. Shot blocks in the night. Here's Bolduc. Tried to get it back to Veleno. Dobson moved up, and now Martinook at center. Sends it in behind the net where Dobish will play that. Swung to the near side for Bolduc. An aerial to the line. Doc tried to knock that down. Back the other way comes Stahl. Jordan Stahl. In behind the net. Cooley pins Martinook. Bolduc hit there. Veleno helps him out and carries it out. Here's Veleno dropping it in. And going after it against Slavin. Gloved down by Doc. Ford jam along the boards. Mesquite there of Doc, and it comes out. Now maybe a break here for Aho. Aho in behind to the net, and Dobish with the stop. He slid back, and where's the puck? Well, they're waving. But Dobish kept it off the line.
Boy, great instincts by the young Montreal netminder. Knows that he's sliding back in. Close the 5-hole tight enough. Let's have a look at this one. Aho gets a little bit behind. An aggressive pitch, just tries to slide it at the last second up in his body. Hold the post, hold the fort. We'll come back with a doozy.
With Rogers Xfinity Internet, my whole house is ready for baseball. So this is where I buy all my memorabilia. Boom! Just got Clement's childhood glove. Mom. She's really come through for me. And this is where I stream everything.
Sweet setup.
It's all for you guys.
Michael, what is this?
Oh, yeah. That's where I keep my modem.
Get Major League Internet with Rogers Xfinity.
Yeah, Wi-Fi is just pouring out of that thing.
Get your favorite Domino's pizza for only $1. For real, when you buy any pizza, you get a second pizza for only $1. But order today. A deal this delicious won't last long. Only at
Domino's. Driving a Chevy Equinox means you can keep up with the chaos and stay connected to what matters and feel more confident with every drive. But dependability isn't achieved in a day. It's earned over time.
And as the most awarded compact SUV for dependability over the last decade in the U.S. by J.D. Power, Chevy Equinox is the one you can count on. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
What would you like to taste today?
Every coffee, a new world. Every sip, a new taste. Keep exploring with new Virtua Up Nespresso. What else?
Canadian fans might have been holding their breath through that break, but here's a look. Domish did keep it out despite his momentum.
Yeah, just great instincts right on top of his knee there, right by his pad. Got a little talk with the official, but again, just a super play off of a close call.
And Deneau wins an important defensive zone face-off. Swung back in off the stick to Blake. Handed off to Matheson. Shots 30-12, Carolina. That one wide of the net. I say no icing as Anderson. Texier back to Matheson. His shot off the post. Matheson rings one up. Texier to the net, and that goes off the stick of Deneau wide. But Matheson's in deep again. Deneau able to come up with that. Sends that high, and it's off the netting and out.
Boy, another example of Matheson with that hard wrister through traffic. Got a lot on it from a standstill. The battle in the corner. He's looking at the front of the net through the legs of the screen in front of him. Able to put that one right on net. Late reaction of Anderson. Good positioning there by Deneau. And a latter one after that. Deneau tried to tip, just couldn't quite get it. We've already seen him score from long range. Was Matheson. He had a good opportunity there.
Approaching 18 minutes with just one shot. And that shot by Noah Dobson from 52 feet out. So the Canadians have not really tested Frederik Andersen here for an extended period of time. Slavkovsky drops it off. Suzuki just bats it to center. Off the skeet of Slavkovsky, and that slides down into the Carolina zone. Caulfield on the forecheck. It's played past him, but kept in by Hudson. Nice play by Hudson, and now Sean Walker's got it. Dropped in by Ehlers. Canadians with 12 shots in game number 2 and still stuck on 12 here in game 3. Lane Hudson at center. That comes off Demidov back in. They're going to call that
Boy, that's
offside.
That is really fortunate.
Yeah.
It didn't have control. If it just deflects and comes back in, but boy, it almost looked like that was going to be brought back in. You be the judge here. Maybe because the stick of Chatfield behind was poking at it. I think that's probably why the call was made there for Rod Brind'Amour. No real argument from Brind'Amour there, but boy, that would have been a glorious chance, wouldn't it?
Ryan Gibbons, Trent Kenora, the linesman tonight. Carolina led 2-1 after one. The Hudson power play goal in the second has us tied at 2. Trying to break the series tie at 1 game apiece. Demidov has it slide past him. Newhook dashing after it. Trying to impede the breakout by Nikishin. Seth Jarvis ahead. Swung in there by Aho. Goldfish out with Svechnikov on the move. Svechnikov with a big hit there on Carrier. Gooley along the boards. Absorbed a hit and worked it ahead. Now Newhook trying to get it in deep. Didn't get much on it. And now the Canadians may get caught. Here's Aho back. And a chance for Svechnikov, and he couldn't get a shot away. Up ahead, Newhook waiting for help. Dobson's jumping on the play, but Newhook was checked along the boards by Slavin and knocked down. And now Newhook heads off on a change. 3:03 left in the third. Up ahead off Robinson. Taken away by Hudson. Cole Caulfield winds it up. And Caulfield through, knocked off his stick and played back out. Lane Hudson gives it back. Caulfield for Suzuki, back to Caulfield. Just glanced off his stick and out. Hudson again. Gooley rink wide. Suzuki neatly off his skate. Slavkovsky follows up. Trying to go wide here on Blake. A centering pass, Caulfield. Really got a stick on that. And now Taylor Hall. Gooley moved up and Hall went by him. He had stick over going to the net. And Hall couldn't get the pass across. Stolen again. Hall blocked there by Gooley. And that man saved the go-ahead goal. Here again, Gostisbehere can't get it off against Slavkovsky. Two clutch defensive plays when the Canadians were in trouble. Here's Gostisbehere again. Back in is Blake. Jackson Blake at the line. Off a stick, glove down, and Gooley sends it ahead. It's going to be icing against Montreal.
Oh, what a bad break that is there for Gooley, just on the end of an unbelievable shift, doing everything he could to get back to the front. Reads where this shot's coming. Behind him is Dobish sliding across, but able to make the play. A little curl and drag there. Good defensive play to clear out of trouble. And then that last pass at the end, Chris, I think just because of the bad ice, it took a hop over. It wasn't an errant, ill-will play by Gooley, just a little bit of a bad break caused the icing.
You saw Gooley leading the way with 6 block shots. Another face-off win for Carolina. Sharp angle shot, and Texier takes the rebound. An aerial trying to spring Anderson. Anderson charging after it. Chatfield gets back first. Martinick sends that toward the net, and Dobish won't take any chances.
You know, for Dobish there, he's had some help in front of him. He's been spectacular with 30 saves, but he would have a whole lot more if it weren't for this collective group of forwards and defense who have done a great job in front of him. Whatever it takes on penalty kills, there's been a couple of big blocks down in the dying seconds here. Gooley able to slide across, and that is playoff hockey. It's a mantra for everybody on the ice. You feed off each other, you take pride in it, and Montreal's done a heck of a job with it.
They've given Montreal another shot, so it's 7-2 in the third. And now just over a minute remaining, so next goal wins territory here in Game 3. Matheson turns up ice. Left side Newhook. Svechnikov back in his own zone. He feeds it ahead. They've got by Aho, who claimed he touched it, but it's icing Carolina. And a big face-off upcoming in the Hurricane zone.
And no hesitation at all. Top line comes flying over. Dobson and Hudson on the back end. Similar to the play Gooley just made, a hop of the puck over Aho creates a face-off in the offensive zone here for the Canadians.
They've won 2 of 9 in the offensive zone tonight. Suzuki digs in. Aho hits the deck. Puck is still loose, and now Svechnikov up with it to clear. Here's Lane Hudson. Ahead Caulfield, banking it in. DeAndre Miller around, that goes off the stick to Blake. Near side corner, Hall calling for it, and he gets it at the Montreal line. It went by him, and they're going to call that icing, so another key draw.
As you mentioned before, Chris, never gets easy, doesn't it? These tight games, it could be just one little play. Does this hop as well? I mean, that's a play Hall's got to get. Hey, he missed it there. He didn't. Maybe he felt the linesman got in his vision, but an opportunity here again for Montreal.
And off this face-off, it's won by Carolina and quickly sent back down the ice. Noah Dobson, who thought he had a go-ahead goal. Remember, Mark Jankowski thought he had an overtime winner against Ottawa that got overruled on a close offside challenge. Dobson rubbed out along the boards, trying to get back to it, and The siren sounds to end regulation time. So for the second straight game, we head to overtime. These teams have had some great overtime moments. Slafkovsky, Hudson, Newhook for Montreal, Martin, Akal, Blake. And 2 nights ago, it was a game winner for Nick Ehlers, who plays hero tonight in Game 3.
Every future has a first. The first time your name is written, clipped, printed on something hard-earned. That first rush. Heart racing, nerves settling, rhythm finding. Faces turning familiar, familiar turning into the usual. That coworker who turns a shift into a friendship. And along the way, you realize your local Tims can take you further. Because here, it's not just a job. Apply today and take the first step into what comes next.
The first ever all-electric Trail Seeker is the perfect EV for those who live for the trail, like me. I trail drive, I trail ride, I trail hike. I like my trail in the front, trailer on the back, and trails on my phone. At work, I trail off. And my favorite food? Trail mix. And that's why I need the most powerful, capable Subaru EV ever. Isn't that right, Mr. Trails? Introducing the first ever all-electric 2026 Subaru Trail Seeker. Seek every trail.
Introducing Subway's wannabe spicy menu. From mild piri piri ranch chicken to wild hot honey chicken to wicked Nashville style deli. All on new ghost pepper bread with fiery flavors like new hot honey sauce. How spicy do you want to be?
Oh. Wouldn't mind a new barbecue like Dale's.
Me neither. And Emma's got eyes on that new bike.
Oh, you mean this bike? Looking good.
Still waiting to figure this out? End the waiting game. Felix connects you with a doctor online, so you can get an ED treatment plan that's right for you. Get started for free at felix.ca. Felix, we'll see you now.
Introducing new Crest Clean Breath. Unlike a regular toothpaste, it doesn't just mask bad breath, it neutralizes bacteria for long-lasting, cleaner breath. Get that clinically proven Crest Clean Breath.
When it's go time, and you're coming up short, order on Skip for your shot at winning one of 50 pairs of tickets to a Stanley Cup playoffs game. Only on Skip, official food delivery app of the NHL.
So with Rogers Xfinity, you can pull up games, stats, and scores. Blue Jays. Springer Dinger.
May I? Davis Schneider's mustache.
It's beautiful. The technology is amazing.
This is Body Armor. Real hydration with electrolytes, no colors from artificial sources, and coconut water. Choose Body Armor.
The Ford, it's a event? The Ford It's a Big Deal event. Right now, lease this F-150 for $237 bi-weekly. That's like $119 a week.
What a city in Montreal. 18 degrees still. It's supposed to go up to close to 30 tomorrow, so fans are enjoying taking in this dramatic third game of the series. Colby, some crazy situations in that overtime, or in that third period leading to overtime.
Yeah, it has, and it's kind of been close calls, right? Like game of inches almost when you look at the way Montreal is operated here, and both teams, both sides. And looking back through this period, we see how close some of these calls are. The no-goal call, of course, it comes back, and we had to get a look at it. I kind of had a feeling just by the look of it, but we really had to slow it down. And there's an inch before he touches the puck those skates are over the line. That goal comes back. That would have been absolutely huge, of course. And then Dobish at the other end. Aho, one of the few times I've really noticed him in this series. And look at the presence of mind to keep that out. What a shot with the puck right between his legs, just sitting right in front of the goal line on that play. And then this play here near the end of the period, and a play works its way out, and Gouli with great presence of mind away from the puck to find that lane and get down and block a shot. 30-14, Montreal leads in blocked shots. So there's just massive moments here tonight and in that third period when the game's on the line.
I also feel like just before that goalie block, the Hudson, the backtracking, because Stan Coven was coming in all alone, and Hudson made the read to make sure that pass didn't get through.
Francis Charron, great positioning on the one where it was in the pads of Dobish.
He called it off right away.
Yeah, that was good,
right
really
there.
good. 100th game of his Stanley Cup playoff career, Aho. All right, the penalty kill, huge.
Habs PK 3 for 3 tonight, and none bigger than the one in the third period. Dobson takes the interference call on Jordan Staal, and they need a kill in a big way. Jake Evans has been outstanding tonight, especially in the circle. You win a draw, you get that puck down ice. That's how you start a penalty kill. Good assertive drawback win, and then you always hear coaches say get pucks 200 feet, right? Alex Newhook has become a huge part of the penalty kill that is the Montreal Canadiens, and then you got guys sacrificing and laying out. Carrier gets a piece of that one. Dobish has been outstanding all night, particularly in this third period. There's save number 1. There's save number 2. As long as he can see it, when he's feeling this way, he's going to save most of those. Jake Evans, a huge part of that as well. That was a huge, huge kill for them.
Okay, so you're thinking about the importance of speed in this game. And so the Montreal Canadiens, only 2 shots in that third period, and they have had to defend a lot throughout this game. So who do they need to be aware of on the Hurricanes? So Ehlers, you think about him coming over off the overtime winner in game 2, and a look at that play for him, coming through that neutral zone with speed, putting the puck into a position where he can skate into it and release it. So if you look at some of the moments that he's had here tonight, this play early on the attack, same thing, the crossover, one side, the other side, simple drill you teach kids, for him through 3 Montreal Canadiens players, maintains that puck. He knows where to put it. He asks for that one as he's flying down the wing. This time it's a slap shot from the one side of the ice. So for him, now understanding where I'm going to cut. So this is a player always looking to release his shot. So I just feel like the Montreal Canadiens need to counter with some speed of their own. The looks they had late in the second, quick puck movement, getting up the ice, the one chance Newhook had, quick puck movement, and using their speed to get up the ice. They have to find a way.
Yeah,
Get
they
more
have to
shots
find a
on
way,
Anderson.
no question. Power play a big difference. Dobish a big difference. Block shots a big difference, and I still find it crazy. The first game of this series is the first time any team's got 3 or more goals against this Canes team. They won. We were there last game as well, 3-2 Carolina, and here we sit again. You got to get 3. Can they get 3?
Juraj Slafkovsky.
So much like the team, I thought he got better as this game went on. I thought he started slow, I thought the team started slow, but he picked it up as they went, and it's fun to watch this team. As his game gets better, so does the team's, and he was all over this. He loves this little shot pass. Same thing on the no goal. This is his chance in the first. He has 2 glorious chances in the second. His game is best when he's assertive, and he's Colby, holding on to pucks, winning your one-on-ones. I love when he has that shot-first mentality. That's a great save by Freddie Anderson, trying to go low glove there. As Jake Allen says, that's the new shot in the NHL. And then this is the part of his game that you're seeing more and more of. He's getting in lanes, sacrificing the body, not just 1 block, 2 blocks there with the stick. You know what? I'm not going to give it to you yet, but he might be my OT winner pick. Not sure, though. I'm going to think about it.
Too late. You've taken him. You've taken him.
Okay, I'll take him.
It's funny, I wrote him down as well, because as he's had some shifts that were struggling, but he's also been dangerous and been almost there. For me, I'd pick him too. And if I was on I'd pick Taylor Hall for the Canes as well.
They're going right ahead to the picks. They're early.
So, yeah, we'll get to the picks on the other side.
Okay, sorry, I did it already.
I was just saying I was thinking about
Just
it.
a thought, you could go 20-20, right? Because Slafkovsky and Aho, but the Aho line, I mean, I can't decide. There's no question Svechnikov's had looks.
Mm-hmm. And him and I 2020 as well when we played, so that makes sense for me. But yeah, this line for me has just been quiet, right? Like noticing them, and Aho with that chance on the goal line. We saw the Dobish stop late, but they just haven't been connected and a little too perimeter for me in watching them on the power play too. Just not enough, and you know, it's been that Stankoven line that has carried them through 2 rounds, and we're just kind of, as we watch Carolina, waiting for that line. Is something going to happen? And they just haven't been able to get anything going, and so that's kind of hurting the Canes, I think, with some of the electricity that this team could provide with possession and chances. Like, that line is just not there. Svechnikov can be dangerous.
All right, we need electricity. We know where to find it. David Elliott.
All right, Ron. Well, listen, with that win on Saturday, Carolina improves to 4-0 in overtime in the Stanley Cup playoffs. This morning, I asked Jordan Martinook, what's the secret here for Carolina? And he said, we don't change our game at all. We are relentless. We're still fearless. We're out there trying to win the game. We're not sitting back. So that's something Montreal has to be mindful of, but there's a lot of things to factor in when we go to overtime.
Well, Carolina won't change anything, as Dave says, but Montreal's going to change one thing, no question. They will remind them about what happened in Game 2, the play that they made, the mistake that they made that led to the game-winning goal. And it was simply be very careful at the opposing blue line. Make sure you get the puck deep. That was the mistake. Ended up in their net. Certainly, St. Louis, don't have to belabor it, but you just have to remind them, make sure you get it deep. Don't make mistakes. Be smart. Be yourselves. Just be intelligent at the blue line. That's the play that got them last time. And by the way, Colby, that's definitely a lot of talk here about that Carolina first line. They've been outscored 3-1 at 5-5-on-5 in the playoffs. And Dave, with the talent of those three players that Colby was talking about, you can't imagine that together they only have one goal at 5-on-5 in the postseason.
That's a really good point. Now, if we're going to use the relentless word to describe Carolina, we'll use the resilient word to describe Montreal. If they come back and win this game, remember they were trailing. It'll be their 32nd comeback, the most in one season in Habs history, Elliot.
Got to shoot the puck, though. They're getting smothered at a lot of points in this particular game. Only one shot, I think, in the first 12 and a half minutes of the third period. They're getting smothered. They have to find ways to generate chances.
Yeah, we'll see. Someone's going to be a hero tonight. We're going to find out maybe early on in overtime, as we saw early on in the second game in Carolina, Ron.
Thank you, David and Elliot. So Kyle showed Jake Evans and Nick Ehlers with great sportsmanship earlier on the telecast. Here is Jake Evans. So this is a family, a devout Montreal Canadiens Blue Jays family from Nova Scotia. The Blairs, Jack, Jade, Alexander, and Tyler were guests of Jake's at a Blue Jays game. So they got the best of both worlds. Michael Pezzetta, the Montreal Canadiens, also in the shot with Jamie. Jake Evans' mom is Dr. Marilyn Kiefer. Now, she has been Jamie Campbell's doctor for over 20 years. She's the one that gave him his leukemia diagnosis and the path forward. She is an incredible woman. So, yeah, when I see Jake Evans doing his thing and leading, you know, it comes from his mom. It's just a great inspiration to him. So I don't know if that'll affect your decision-making on who you pick. I might want to take Jake Evans.
You
but
should,
Jen,
absolutely.
These guys are stealing my picks.
So let's go. You've got Slavkovsky?
No, I'm going to take the captain. Give me Nick Suzuki.
Okay. And? For Carolina?
Big changes here on this side of
the for Carolina, Seth Jarvis.
Okay.
I got Hall and Slav. I'll stick with that.
Okay, I'm going to go Caulfield for Montreal and Stankoven. We're going to steer clear from that first line. So going to the second line, Stankoven.
You don't think I mushed them at all? Like it might come through? I don't know.
I'm going Jarvis. Look, Jen, who was my first Carolina Hurricane? Yeah. So if I can't have Stanky, I'll take Janky. I'll go Jankowski.
Nice.
And Evans. Those are our picks. Shot attempts, Carolina 78, Montreal 38. That plus 40 differential, the largest through 60 minutes in any game of this postseason. What a night.
Introducing the steak and cheese melt at Firehouse Subs. Stacked with new tender, flame-seared prime rib, melted provolone, caramelized onions and peppers, top sliced, toasted twice and extra melted. Because firefighters do things the right way. Only at Firehouse Subs.
With Nicorette, I'm finally quitting for real. I'm facing the cravings, the triggers, refusing to give in. That's real quitting. The journey wasn't easy, but real freedom is worth it. With Nicorette, you're up to 2 times more likely to quit. Nicorette, quitting made real.
Only to be used by adults who are trying to quit smoking. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is highly addictive.
I get lost in your eyes.
You forget the rest when you bring out the best.
When you have a puck.
No, this way. Hey, how are you? Living the dream. Let's go.
Burger King Canada invited fans and skeptics to try their elevated Whopper, new fries, new nuggets, and new onion rings.
Not what I remember. This is actually really good, man.
Told you.
It's so good.
Burger King over everything.
This overtime is brought to you by Subway's new Wannabe Spicy Menu. 3 different heat levels, from mild to wild to wicked. How spicy do you want to be at Subway?
Now we're back for overtime. Carolina's won their last 5 in overtime, and here you see their rank, percentage-wise, is one of the best overtime teams ever.
Yeah, it's been one of their playoff MOs. They've been able to find a way to win games and stay in it. You know, the biggest question coming in again this year is their lack of ability to win in the Eastern Conference Final. I mean, they just have not had success under Rod Brindamore. That Game 2 win was just his second win in the conference final as a coach, as a team. They've struggled through the last 4 times they've been here. And Chris, don't you think that's been the mandate all year? You're building this team. He talked about bringing in Ehlers, who could be a game breaker. Well, he was in Game 2, and he paid off for them in that one. Who's going to be the hero here in such an important Game 3?
4 goals tonight. 3 have been scored by defensemen Gostisbehere, Matheson, and Hudson. The only forward to score, Taylor Hall. Ehlers, no surprise, is out to start for Carolina. That gets off his skate back into the Hurricane zone. Now Ehlers trying to get it deep. Lane Hudson with the puck for Carrier. Rink wide, Texier. Tied up, but Hudson will take over. Was some criticism that Marty St. Louis didn't shorten the bench for overtime, which is, here's a chance. It's Nick Suzuki missing. What a chance to finish it. Anderson. As Suzuki got in behind, Canadians almost hit too many men there. Caulfield's pass broken up. And back the other way goes Svechnikov. Dropping it off, and Suzuki steps in front of that. Back to the attack comes the captain. Slavkovsky on the left flank. Taken away, swung to the line, kept in by Matheson. Here's Matheson, and that shot off the bar and out.
Oh, man. Talk about chances. A minute 3 into this overtime. How about Hudson? Suzuki's coming off the bench. You get lost often. He gets right down the gut. Tries to go that blocker side. Over the pad, under the blocker. Just misses to the outside as Frederik Andersen closing off. And we've seen Matheson. The chances he's had. He's got 1 tonight. A couple of posts. That one off the crossbar and out of play. Great play along the boards to elude traffic.
Newhook wins the draw. Noah Dobson shooting it. That blocked. He'll get another chance. Passing it off to Demidov on the right flank. Demidov watched by Chatfield. Back to the line. Dobson once again trying to thread it through. That went off the skate of Stankoven. Bumping Newhook along the boards. Swung around to the far side for Hudson. Watched by Blake. Hands it off to Demidov. Tracked there up high by Chatfield. Off the skate of Evans, and now Carolina works it ahead. Slavin started the breakout. Here comes Stankoven and Hall. Taylor Hall with a shot, and that doesn't get through. Blake tied up by Dobson. And now Noah Dobson takes over. Thought he had the go-ahead, what might have stood as the game winner tonight. On an overturned goal in the third. Gostisbehere ahead. And Robinson into the bench. Play stopped.
Well, you just never know when the opportunity is going to present itself. Look at the look for Anderson. It's through bodies that he never sees. Almost hits Chatfield, just whispers against his shirt, and then look at the eyes of Matheson. Couldn't believe it. Thought he had to play perfectly.
Didn't even crossbar Game 7 against Buffalo, too.
Yes, he did. Well, you can see that wrister is able to get quite a bit of zip on it, but that gives you a great idea of just how much chaos there is in front of the goaltenders and trying to pick up the shots coming through. Anderson never saw it.
Carolina sends it in. It's Carrier sidestepping one check, but Martinook scrapes the boards. Stall against Matheson. Martinook checked. Carrier trying to turn away from the forechecking. And here comes Matheson. A lead feed. It's Texier trying to center, and that pass intercepted by K'Andre Miller. Bounce back into Montreal territory, and it's Mike Matheson, who's had quite a night. Here he comes. Over the line is Matheson, and a good stick check there by Miller. He'll flip it away to center. Robinson with speed after it. Gooley there for Montreal. Up ahead, Canadians almost had too many on a close call, but icing against Montreal.
You know, it's always a risk-reward decision for a defenseman. Do I go up? Do I join the rush? Well, here he's got lots of open ice, so Matheson takes it in. Talk about patience and control. Keandre Miller, he's got a great reach, a good long stick, good defensive defenseman against a good defensive defenseman, and Keandre Miller with a quick stick to thwart any chance.
Out there against Deneau. Carolina's won 55% of the faceoffs tonight, and he kicks that back for Gostisbehere. Sidestepping Anderson, backhand in front, and Josh Anderson will play it away. Texier gets to the bench, Suzuki comes on, so too Slafkovsky, Nikishin, and sticks to Dobish.
You can just see with this second period change now, just the importance, as Elliott was saying, that game-winning goal in Game 2 didn't get the puck in deep, created some chaos on a change, and gave the Carolina Hurricanes the odd man rush. You see every change is just get there as quickly as you can, make sure you make the safe play. And you asked about the short bench for Montreal. It has been that to this point, Chris, but we've also had so many icings that there's been no chance.
Face-off control, the stretch for Caulfield, and that deflects out of play.
So those are the tough calls for a coach. You know, in Game 2, that line of Bolduc and Kapanen and Doc played, well, Bolduc 12:53, Kapanen 10:01. They were -2 on the night. And so as a coach, you're trying to slide that fourth line through. Well, how about the fourth line tonight? They were on for the first goal against. So they've been minus. They've been under 10 minutes here, and it'll be interesting to watch. There's going to be a time where he's got to get a matchup, and he's got to get him out there.
Well, as they're playing their 17th game.
Yeah.
So
compared to the other guys.
Just to take a little of the load off if you can is the dilemma. And out comes Jarvis. They'll dump it in past Gooley. Around it goes Hudson, an outlet for Suzuki and Slafkovsky. Jumping is Caden Gooley. Gooley in deep. Turns back against Chatfield. Slavin up the boards. And off a glove, but out to center. Swept back in by Gooley. Frederick Anderson. Up ahead it goes, and here's Jackson Blake, an overtime hero against Philadelphia in the series clincher. And this is going to be icing Montreal.
A little back and forth between Demidov and Blake after they got piled into the corner. Boy, I'm sure for Marty St. Louis, Chris, there's been far too many icings on this early go-round. There's the guy. Who's guilty there? Who's grabbing whose arm? They kind of both look like they've got a piece of each other, and they have some words and a fallout after. Carolina having a quick conversation before the Stankoven line goes for the faceoff.
No hook on his strong sides, 4-2, and make it another faceoff win, but stolen by Hall in front of Jam. Close call for Taylor Hall. Now Walker can't get it to the net. Stankoven. Demidov stays on him. Stankoven stays on the puck. Around it comes. Demidov continues to battle for it with Stankoven. Turns away and then reverses it. Dobson can't clear. Kept in at the line by Walker. Stankoven. That pass bouncing over a stick and fired wide. Demidov on it. And gave it away again. Stankoven's got it in front, and Hall unable to corral it. And Montreal finally gets it out.
But no change, Chris. Nobody able to change. Oh, there's a bad giveaway by Miller, which might give the tired Montreal players their chance.
Newhook deflecting that deep, so Anderson comes on now. Canadians changing in front of the bench as Martinook deflected that right on to Dobish. Goes after it. Ehlers swings that right on goal. Played to the other side off a Montreal player, and Anderson's got it. Turning to dump it in. That goes off Gostisbehere. Deneau behind the net. Texier looks for it. Feeds the point. Jaden Struble trying to roll it through. And knocked away by Carolina. Lane Hudson ambles back. Hudson over 24 minutes in the game. And an icing call against the Canadians.
Boy, a couple of giveaways. You know, fatigue does so much to your ability to make plays under pressure. Matheson fans on it. Hull just trying to get it hard to the net. The rebound there, but unable to clear. That gives a second chance off the backboard. And boy, good job by Domic getting that left pad down hard. Stankoven gets the turnover from Demidov, and you can see collapse to the net.
Face off one, a shot that got through it. Hit Dobish through the screen off the stick of Jacob Slavin. Aiden Struble. Hudson. Jankowski. And Hudson, and now Suzuki able to chip it ahead. Up to Slavkovsky at center. An overtime hero against Tampa Bay. Here's Juraj Slavkovsky swinging it into the corner. Caulfield tied up. Suzuki trying to knock it down. And batted out by Robinson. Jankowski off. Fourth line was up against the top line of the Canadians. And here comes Slavkovsky trying to shift gears on Slavin. Sebastian Aho's come on now. Here's Aho through center. Svechnikov, great pass. Aho! And he rolled that just wide. What a great rush chance for Carolina. Demidov redlining in. Anderson out to whip that around, and it went off Jarvis. Evans will play it back. Matheson ahead for Newhook. Speaking of overtime heroes, it'll be Taylor Hall in. Hall trying to get the shot off, and he missed stick side. Newhook off the boards. Evans, but not out. And Newhook didn't see it. Matheson bails him out. Matheson dragged down. Newhook to work. Alex Newhook's in, and a toe stop by Anderson. There's an Evans shot blocked by Miller. Evans gets it again and rolls it wide. Looks like about the same spot where Newhook scored against Buffalo, didn't it?
Same spot, different shot.
Clubbed back by Dobson at his own line, and now Anderson tries to flip it in towards the no. Checking is to know. Stankoven now to the line. Blake will work it out. Alex Texier lost it, but it goes to Hudson. And did that go off Miller? It did not. Icing called.
Boy, every shot, just the crowd is on their edge here. Slavin with his head up. Knows he's got some traffic in front. Look at that. Just seemed like it just hit him, and he didn't even see it, but in great position. And this one, just a piece of it was Braden Cooley not allowing that one. Newhook, you're right, from that similar spot, lower down, and a pad save by Anderson.
Stahl off the draw. It'll come back to Gostisbehere. That goes off Anderson. Jordan Stahl gets back on it. Bouncing puck that Struble was able to send out to center. Now Anderson tries to get loose, along with Texier. Here's Nick Ehlers back behind his own net. Wayne Hudson. And Struble on the tape for Suzuki. Best chance in overtime for the Canadians. Went to Suzuki, now it's Caulfield from the corner. And it's a shot by Carrier that goes high. Caulfield checked to the corner by Gostisbehere. And it's sent down the ice. Race for that. And Goulet got there ahead of Jarvis. Up ahead. That does get to Slavkovsky. Here's Juraj Slavkovsky tied up by Slavin. 9 minutes into overtime. Carrier rink wide. Newhook back on the ice. Around for Suzuki. Knocks it down. Unable to work it deeper. That was along the line. Close call. And Anderson steers that to the corner. Tipped in by Matheson. Now it's out. Seth Jarvis and Aho. Matheson trying to get back. The late man, Chatfield. I think that glanced off the shoulder of Dobish and out.
Well, the crowd's reaction says it all. You've just seen guys exhausted at the end of shifts stop up with the trailer, and look at the positioning of Dobich like he typically has been. He's dialed in on this one, tried to go up by the ear between the blocker, and just the tall body there able to make the save. Chatfield in all alone. As you mentioned, the best chance for Montreal, the Suzuki break, unable to find the net on that one. Chatfield in a similar spot, coming right down the middle there. Challenged by Dobich, and Dobich able to win it.
The official scores took one of the two shots away from Montreal in the third. The shot since the end of the second, 11-1 in favor of Carolina. Here's Tano, flipping a backhand to the side of the Carolina net. We passed 10 minutes. We'll get a shovel after the next whistle following that as Miller tries to move in. Hudson on the puck. They'll jam along the boards. It's knocked into that far corner. There's Eric Robinson. Hudson tripped. No call. A lot of dissenting opinion here.
Well, imagine that if he was tripped and it created a turnover that ended up in the back of the net.
Robinson deflected that in, so no icing. Matheson on the puck. That's the dilemma if you don't make the call, and it. Free for Dobson. Stankoven there, along with Blake, disrupting things. Noah Dobson swings it back to Matheson and Davidov. Hall had him lined up and nails him with a big hit, and icing called once again against Montreal.
Well, the first big break for the Montreal Canadiens comes here because it's an icing with tired bodies, but because it's overtime after 10, we get a scrape. You be the judge, stick on the feet. The fans are judging there, 21,000 plus, no call. But here's the first 10 minutes in a nutshell. Just a beauty of a pass by Hudson up the middle. Suzuki with the game on his stick, can't quite get it off the post and in. Matheson has had a heck of a game. Another one off the crossbar. And then Taylor Hall scoring in this game as well. From behind the net, tries not once, but the rebound coming back. Slavin with the shot there. Stankoven on the doorstep, but a nice play by Davidov. And somebody tell Alex Newhook that this is a game 7. Maybe he'll put one in there. And there was the most recent, Chatfield coming in and not able to beat Jakub Dobich, who has been the busier of the two, as you chronicled, Chris. Shot total skewed again by Carolina, 37-12 on the clock. 35 saves for Dobich, another great performance.
You saw Mike Matheson leading the way in time on ice tonight.
You said about the schedule since May 10th. This is only the third game for the Carolina Hurricanes. This is the 5th for the Montreal Canadiens. You mentioned this is game number 17 now in what, a month and a half. It becomes such a wear and tear, and if you're looking for freshness, it has to go in Carolina's way, but the rhythm has stayed there for the Canadiens with all the games.
Brindamore rolling 4 lines here. We've seen the 4th line, but not yet for Montreal.
That's a hard one for Marty St. Louis, because the challenge then is guys get out of it. They haven't played the whole period. You want to slide them out there, and there haven't been a whole lot of whistles. If you get an icing, Chris, in the second period, you say, okay, I'm going to start that 4th line in an offensive zone. You're trying to win the game. You get an icing, your top line comes out to try to take advantage of it in overtime.
You don't have Peter Klima on line 1.
What do you have, like an hour without playing and 2 periods? Biggest goal of his life.
Oh, here's Evans and Stahl, won by Montreal. Skittering down the ice. They may have to do it again. They will. So Canadians with frequency icing the puck here in overtime.
Well, if you've been a fan watching this, how many times have you seen the long flip into the neutral zone? Both these teams, in these type of tight games, you don't want to turn the puck over. You've seen so many just hang time in the middle. That one just got away from Dobson there and created the icing.
Stahl 9-7. Evans 4-7 on face-offs tonight. Although Evans has been terrific throughout most of the playoffs, and there's a winger win for Newhook speeding down the ice, trying to get by Slavin. Nothing going. Rink wide, and Gooley had come on, so Gooley will send it back into the Carolina zone. It jumped the stick of Anderson and Demidov. And here comes the veteran Slavin. Wrapping it in, Martinic goes after it. Gooley is there. Gooley's had a busy night at 12. Suzuki gives it away. Stahl plays it in behind the net. Gooley for Hudson and back. Aiden Gooley hit as Martinic peels back, hits to the bench on a change, and Lane Hudson starts away. Suzuki on this near side. Can he get by Miller? John Walker's got it. Back for Andre Miller. Deflected deep by Svechnikov. Carrier sidesteps a hit. Hudson along the boards. Away from Svechnikov. Knocked off the stick of Slavkovsky in front, and Slavkovsky came back to take it away. Here they come over the line. Slavkovsky unable to control the count. Oh, the Canadians are going to get away with one, or are they? Too many men.
There is a real hesitant move here by the linesman. Nobody wants to call this. If there's contact just away from the play while the guy's at the bench, you can just call and blow the whistle. The problem here is it hits the skates of Hudson. Matheson's already on. Hey, man, if this is game 42, this is a penalty. I think this, wow. If they're not giving a penalty here, that's a huge break. Wow is right.
Well, if you didn't like the no call on the trip,
how is that not too many men on the ice? I mean, the puck goes, Rod Brindamore's going absolutely crazy, and I don't blame him. You know, if you're a Montreal fan and it's going the other way, you're incensed here too. So you know Carolina fans are watching this, can't believe it. And Chris, I know refs don't want to get involved, but this is just as clear as day. Matheson, you got to wait till he gets there. Hudson stops the puck from going to Aho, who would have a chance before Matheson could get there. That's the other element. It would have been an odd man rush had that puck gone through.
So unlikely to get a call in overtime, it would look like, unless it's puck over glass or an even more egregious too many men. That's a break.
Well, if you're Montreal, you got to take advantage of it, right? You don't often get those.
Matheson around. That puck, did it glance off Anderson? It did. Walker sends it around. Played out to center. Carrier bowled over. Bolduc. So Bolduc gets a chance. Here's Stankoven in. Bolduc watching him and breaks up that pass. Jackson Blake plays it high and wide of the cage. Anderson, and swept away by Dobson. Yet another icing call.
That's about what, the third or fourth for Dobson. He's had a tough time making some of those passes. And you look at this loose puck here, Stankoven, maybe just a little fatigue. Why not drive? You've got Bolduc, if he hadn't noticed, playing his first shift of overtime. Drive to the net, force him to make a play, maybe draw a penalty. Instead, he stopped up and allowed the Canadians to recover.
Montreal's been called 7 times in this overtime period for icing. Out is Bolduc at center. Did he get to the red line? Anderson's in! And can't get a shot away. Canadians trying to get a change in. Back the other way is Eric Robinson. Robinson speeds in, misses stick side. Slavkovsky lifts the stick. Tried to spring Caulfield, but the pass didn't reach him. Jankowski's in, and again, that fourth line is out for Carolina. Big hit along the boards, and now Caulfield turns. Slavkovsky trying to redirect it towards Suzuki. At the line, Robinson with Jankowski. And he'll flip it back. Canadians still without a shot on goal in overtime. Picked off by Svechnikov. Trying to work his way in. Svechnikov looking to center, passing it across Jarvis, back to Svechnikov, scores! Evgeny Svechnikov has won it in overtime. Off a Canadian stick and up into the top corner, and Svechnikov breaks a long slump to win Game 3 for Carolina.
And just the mistakes, right? The clearing the zone, twice not able to get it out of the zone. You're giving Carolina a couple extra chances. A turnover in the neutral zone creates this. 2 down low, an opportunity at the net. Everybody's back into position, but right here, the aftermath in front. Sebastian Aho in good position. But earlier than that, Montreal had 2 chances to get the puck out. Carolina able to get control of it. On the top of the crease there is Sebastian Aho. And this crowd goes home. The opportunity was there to take the 2-1 lead. Svechnikov, who's had a really tough series so far. Here's Hudson, making a play. And just an errant pass in the middle. Fatigue will do that to all of you. The turnover creates the second chance here for the Carolina Hurricanes, and they take advantage of it and take a 2-1 series lead.
Now 6 consecutive overtime victories for Carolina over 2 years, 5-0 in these playoffs. Svechnikov with his first ever conference final goal, and Carolina wins it. Rod?
Chris Craig, thank you kindly. Tough one for the home crowd and for the Montreal Canadiens. Lane Hudson, the beautiful pass to Spring Suzuki earlier, but obviously, Jen, why don't you, we'll look at the goal here, and then, Luke, you've got a little something that you're working on, but let's go with the goal first, Jen. You take it.
Sure. I mean, well, this is tough because I feel the Canadiens started the overtime so well, and that felt like they had possession time in the offensive zone. They had chances, but they couldn't hit the net nearly enough. And this is the one that we were talking about. I mean, it's too bad, but it's just a bit of a soft pass where Slavkovsky doesn't make the read, and it's the turnover, and from there, you're just caught in your zone, you don't recover, and it costs you the game. I mean, that's a tough one, because Hudson made a lot of great plays throughout this one, but to me, it was just not capitalizing on your chances for the Canadiens, and a rough turnover, and it's this line that gets it for it, Cody.
Yeah, did I talk him into that pretty much? I maybe talked him into that, me and Elliot, last intermission heading into the overtime. And that maybe that's the first time like tonight that we saw Svechnikov with that power forward style play to get in on that puck and almost split the D and eventually end up leading to this play and shot right here off of that turnover. Svechnikov jumps on it, and that's it.
Okay, so they were taking runs at Hudson all night, and we showed a bit of that, Elliot and Dave did, but he took one before that, and I think he's dazed, and I think he never recovers from this. It's going to be William Carrier in the corner who gets a high elbow up here, and it hits him right in the side of the head, and he obviously takes a second here. I don't think he ever recovered in this shift after this hit, and it's probably, the goal is, I'm going to say 20, 25 seconds after this. He's dazed, he gets back to his feet, and then the turnover happens after that. I just, first of all, I don't love the hit. It's not great. It's obviously a high elbow, but I think it stuns him a little bit, and I just think he couldn't get his footing after that.
What a game for Hudson, too, hey? Like,
here's Andrei Svechnikov right now, and Kyle.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Well, Andre, we do know it was your shot that ultimately led to the winner here in overtime. Would love to know what you're feeling after tonight.
Yeah, I mean, good feelings. Obviously it was one of the hardest game we played, and good thing we won that game. And I think it was lots of effort from everyone there. And, like I said, good thing we won that game.
Why was this game one of the hardest? It was another night you didn't give up a lot of shots.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like every time you go to OT, it's always hard games, and you battle for each other and try to do your best. But sometimes it goes your way, sometimes doesn't go your way. But we had luck, and that's all about it.
Well, all playoffs, you guys have been perfect in overtime, though, Andre. So what's left yourselves so comfortable in the extra frame?
Yeah, I think we're very confident in the group we got here, and everyone knows what the kind of role they got, and Freddie playing amazing. So we just got to continue doing that and stick with our plan for the games.
I know you take a lot of pride in your own game, Andre. You'd been sitting on 1 goal coming into tonight. How have you felt about your game these playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's aligned. We're getting lots of chances, but we just can't really score right now. But, today obviously was a big goal for us. So we're going to continue working together, watch some video, and hopefully we're going to score some more goals in the next game.
Andre, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Great. Colby, this is the last one for you for this round, at least.
Phone's always on, Ron.
Yeah, phone's on? Okay. But listen, thank you for 4 straight nights over what is Memorial Day in the United States. So Mel and the kids came up for a portion here in Toronto, but really appreciated having you in.
Thanks,
and we'll
you
see
guys.
Draft coverage.
Great job. And nice to have Cruz in, too, Colby. That was nice the other night.
8:30 ET, 5:30 Pacific tomorrow. Canada Vonka, Hockey Central. Lots more coverage coming up from Montreal, Manitoba East, CBC News, The National. For all of us, thank you for watching this Monday night. Good night from Montreal and Toronto.
Thanks, Ron. Attaboy, Army. This is Sportsnet Central presented by KFC. Ken Reed, Ivanka Osmak. We are going to dig into some post-game on Game 3. I'm glad that Gaz showed that elbow on Hudson because we screamed right away. You grab your head after something. Holy no calls in overtime.
Like the too many men, the tripping.
Trip.
There were a few. And also, holy, no many shots on goal for the Habs. Just one combined between third period and overtime, over 24 minutes.
That's wild.
Without. It's hard to win when you don't put one on.
You would think,
on the net. Okay, we'll run through the highlights. Nick Kypreos, we'll talk to him in a little bit as well. This series, of course, moving to Montreal, and it's Claude Lemieux, a Stanley Cup champion in 1986, coming out with the torch.
Maybe Army's going there to carry the torch for Game 4.
Oh, that would be good. Give them some boost. Now, we know how good the Habs have been at bouncing forward this postseason. Tonight, of course, first back-to-back losses in the playoffs. First period, puck deflects to an open Shane Gostisbehere. He gets it by Jakub Dobish. And the Canes, 4-0 on the road this postseason to take that